What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Welcome back to another stream for you guys. This is your post-match reaction. Tottenham 2, Borussia Dortmund 0. And what the hell was that, Tottenham? What the hell was that after the week we've had, losing to West Ham, going out the FA Cup to Aston Villa in shocking style? We have just put Borussia Dortmund away emphatically. That first 45 minutes was our best 45 minutes of the season. Spurs were scintillating, they were aggressive, they were creating chances at will. And, you know, everyone's going to look at it, if you didn't watch the game, saying it was only because of the 10-man, it was only because Borussia Dortmund got a man sent off, but that was not the case before the red card. Spurs were just as emphatic before the red card as they were after the red card in those first 45 minutes. But please, Brian, tell me, where did that performance come from today?
First of all, how good is it to come onto a match reaction and be positive, happy, smiling? Look, we all feared the worst, didn't we? We all feared the worst with the selection, the Matisse Tell thing, Solanke starting, Spence on the wing, and with Borussia Dortmund in very, very good form, and in us, the exact opposite. I don't think we could have envisaged that sort of performance. Thoroughly enjoyable after evenings watching football. The second half wasn't the greatest spectacle, but there were still opportunities. Just Spurs, for the first time in a long time, go to that changing room with the most upbeat positivity, happiness. Now fourth in the Champions League table. Looks like we're dead cert for the final top 8, so there's no playoff.
Well, if we win the last game, yeah.
And could a point do it?
No, I don't. I think we'll probably have to win.
Eintracht Frankfurt, but in a lot better position than we thought we would have been. And there's a lot of people leaving that stadium today that would have thought, oh, this could be a nightmare. That could just say, thank God I was there and got to see that performance, because fair play to the manager today, fair play to the team who were non-stop running. You look at people like Solanke, who has hardly featured or hasn't featured all season, a couple of cameos, putting in 70 minutes or so, and getting a goal, hold-up play, brilliant. Destiny, fantastic. Xavi playing with an injury. If that's what he plays like with an injury, just imagine what he'll be playing like when he's fully fit. Just a day of what the fuck is wrong with our football club. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people, I think we said it at the beginning of the stream, it'll just be so classic Spurs for Spurs to win today after all the noise about Frank and everything like that, after everything I've said, everything you've said, everything everyone said, for Spurs to go and win the hardest game that we had on paper in the Champions League this season. I mean, we blew them away. We absolutely blew them away. And not only did we blow them away, but we were down on our knees in terms of personnel that we had available to us. We had Spence on the wing, turning into prime Jedith Bale today. I can't believe what I was watching. You know, we were aggressive, winning the ball back in key areas of the park. Xavi Simons was literally everywhere. The amount of times he was winning the ball back, starting attacks for us. Wilson Odegaard was electric down that right-hand side. The way he was burning Schlotterbeck was incredible. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, that first 45, I couldn't fault anything. I couldn't fault anything in that performance. Like, the red card was most definitely a red card, and, you know, credit to the VAR for pulling it back, and the referee and correcting his decision and making the right decision. I mean, both goals that we scored, I mean, there were a bit of fortune in both of them. Let's be honest about them.
Not the first one, because it was pure skill.
Of course it was. Odegaard obviously scuffing a touch, and it goes over the defender, and he clings onto the ball and plays a lovely ball into Coutinho Romero, and that sets us on our way. And our second one, Odegaard plays it into Dominic Solanke, and it hits his right leg, then his left leg, then back to his right leg, and then finds his way back into the back of the net. So, look, we were fantastic in the first half, but both goals did come a bit through fortune.
Well, you look at it, we've needed some fortune, haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean, we've a bit, and I will say, Joe.
But you create your own luck, this is what they say.
Yeah, you go back to the red card as well. I will say, like someone put a super chat in the first half, this referee let the game flow. There was hardly any VAR intervention apart from that and the penalty, which we thought was the right decision, that we should have had a penalty. The energy as well, Porro looked revitalised, looked from looking knackered. The energy and work rate of the team, you wouldn't have thought the performance we just had against West Ham was a few days ago.
I know.
They look like they've been at a health spa, or the training ground, and a lovely health retreat, a couple of massages, and ready to go. You can't fault them today. You cannot fault them. And you can't, whether people think he should stay or should go or given to Burnley, Frank has got it absolutely right today with a very bare bones squad, like you said. And it is a joyous day. We haven't had many of them this season for Tottenham fans.
What you got to say is that Dominic Solanke and Destiny Udogie made such a difference today, didn't they? Destiny is our, what you could say, first choice left back. Dominic Solanke is probably our first choice number 9 as well. Solanke we haven't seen all season. Udogie in and out of injury all season as well. To have them both back and to see the performances they both put in. I mean, Solanke, his hold-up play I thought was absolutely fantastic. For someone that's been out for 6 months, I haven't seen him all season, to put in the work rate and energy levels that we saw in that first half, I thought was fantastic. And Destiny Udogie, his first game back from injury, he's been on the bench the last couple of games, and the energy and the level of work rate he put in, I mean, it felt like nobody could get down that left-hand side for us because he was just there, the anticipation to intercept so many balls as well. I mean, both of them. And I thought the way that Destiny was linking up with Jed was just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, let's touch on both. I'm a fan of both the players, and I honestly thought before his injuries that Solanke could do very, very well for Thomas Frank, really well. And I think what we've seen with him missing, obviously he didn't get amongst the goals last season, but like you said, his hold-up play and his work for the team, we just haven't had that all season. You've just seen it's very, very tough opposition to come in and get his first start under so much pressure, to come in and do that. His hold-up play in the first half, you could see, obviously fortunate with his goal. As for Destiny, this guy, when he comes in, like we saw Brighton away, when he had that little spell when he first came back, we look at different teams. It brings the best out in Xavi as well. Xavi's best games have been when there's been balance on the flanks. And Destiny today just shows how important and how big a player he can be, just keeping him fit. And hopefully with Sousa signing, who knows when, it's been dragging on, if we can actually rotate, there is such a good player in Destiny Udogie. There really is the power. Like you said, he's non-stop running, his anticipation. He was brilliant today, absolutely brilliant, and put in such a shift. He lasted all 90, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just honestly, a great performance from him. Great performance.
Yeah, and it was just like that weird kind of dynamic with Destiny because before we saw Solanke for the first time, which was against Aston Villa, in that press conference pre-Aston Villa, Thomas Frank goes, "Well, Destiny and Solanke are both going to be in the matchday squad, but Udogie is much closer to coming back than Solanke." Yeah. Solanke played 10 minutes, then half an hour, and still will be yet to see Udogie. We're like, what is going on here? He's been on the bench, but we haven't seen him. Well, he looked completely match fit today, Destiny Udogie, and put in an absolutely fantastic performance. Let's touch back on Xavi again, because for me, he was my man of the match. I thought he was everywhere, creative, aggressive, showed the defensive side of his game as well today. Even right until the last minute, he was running through the channels, creating chances for us, obviously played that ball to Porro. I mean, he was full of creativity, and his passing was absolutely on point today, wasn't it? And I say that is by far his best performance in the Spurs shirt, isn't it?
Undoubtedly. And you could see he had a smile on his face the whole game. Yeah. We saw it. It was the first time I saw it against Villa in the FA Cup. He started doing this to the crowd, didn't he? He was doing that all game today. He was directing traffic, the tempo of the game, just subtle movements to create space. He looks like he just wanted to create and get that ball forward all the time. I've spoken about it many times, as have you. The work rate he puts in for a number 10, where we've had our flair players where it's like, just stay up there. When we get the ball, you explode, we get the ball to you. What he actually does for the team, he's always back tackling. He wins the ball back when he's lost the ball. Whether it was spraying balls across, switching flanks, through ball, everything he did today was fantastic. And he almost had that goal as well, didn't he, at the near post? Could have had an assist for when he sent Porro off. A fantastic display from him. Like we said, he's been carrying a knock. And after the West Ham performance, where so many people came under fire, he was one of them. He's just shown what he is capable of and what damage he can do. Yeah, absolutely. He lasted 90 minutes. And as you say, he's carrying a knock, playing through the pain barrier for Spurs today, and showed an unbelievable level of performance. Is that a kind of welcome to Tottenham, finally, Xavi Simons? Do you know what? We've been saying this with certain things. I said that after the Brentford game, and then after the Copenhagen game with Frank, and then obviously it all blew up. I think we've been waiting. He's had very good games where he's been very good attackingly.
Yeah.
Or he's had very, very good games where he's good defensively. But I don't think there's been the both. And today, there was certainly both. And obviously, he's against a team he's played many a time. I just think he comes off that pitch right now and he can't wait for Burnley.
Yeah. It's just like, it leaves you, when you watch a performance like that, it leaves you with like kind of more questions than answers of what we've seen so far this season. It's just like, so far we've been complaining so much about our inability to make 5-yard passes and ping the ball around and be dominant in games and be aggressive and press consistently high from the front and create chances. I mean, everything pretty much that we've been complaining about all season we saw in that 90 minutes of football, pretty much, right? Like, how do you even begin to assess something like that? Because we were controlling the game so well. Tactically, we were on point. I mean, Frank played a blinded today. The players have played a blinded today. Yep. Everything from that 90 minutes of football is just so positive. Where has that been? Where has that been all season? I'm just like, I just don't understand it.
It was kind of like the second half against Borussia, wasn't it? When we were trying to force our way back in. Again, I'll say it. I think destiny. I said it when we were going forward. I think destiny is so important to this team. Not because of him, we've been doing his passing, but we can go down the left and he's there and he's comfortable with his left. Just for the whole balance of the squad. Odegaard, who we see predominantly on the left, was on the right, and in that first half, they couldn't get near him. They could not get near him. The team just looked. All I will say is the clusterfuck of stuff we've had going on since Saturday. They need to do this every single day. Like, that needs to be the norm at Tottenham. Just absolute randomness and unpredictability, and then we'll do this.
It's just, you just can't write this stuff, man. Whenever you think that Spurs are going to win, they go and lose. Because everyone will say before West Ham, even how shit we've been this season, West Ham given 3 points. They're so shit. Of course we're going to win. We lose the game. We're coming into this Dortmund game. Nobody gave Spurs a hope in hell. Nope. With the players that we had available, with the level of opposition we were playing, with the way Spurs have been in recent months, we were just like, there is no chance Spurs win this game. We played Dortmund off the park today.
Well, we got the 2 right, didn't we? We just didn't get the clean sheet. And like George Orton said, now made that 5 Champions League games. Can we play by Borussia Dortmund every week?
The thing is, right, before the game, we were sitting here on the watch-along. I asked you to give a prediction. You said 2-2. But you didn't believe that it was going to be 2-2. I knew you didn't believe it was going to be 2-2.
That was my heart overall.
That wasn't even a heart. That was just like, look, I'm on the watch-along. I need to be positive. You know what I mean?
My head was saying 3-1 Dortmund. Yeah. My head was saying 3-1 Dortmund with the way things have been. But, my God, how good is it to be wrong sometimes?
Mate, it's unbelievable to be wrong sometimes. And big love to Cuti Romero once again, hitting the ball and scoring yet another goal in such a great moment for Tottenham Hotspur. But for me, Kevin Danso, what a performance he put in. Every time, well, both of them, I think, were both so aerially dominant. And they were big reasons why Spurs would be able to sustain that pressure on Dortmund for the majority of the game.
You know, but by more than many, how much I love Kevin Danso. I can't remember the last time. Probably I'd say, do you remember that season when Vertonghen got injured and Kevin Wimmer stood in? And it was only for that period. When I see that a Romero or a Van der Ven out, yes, we lose their qualities. But as soon as I see Kevin Danso's out, I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. He is so dependable.
Yeah.
In the air, he is the best aerial defender we have. He is a colossus. He is such a valuable squad member. Again, he's deputised for Romero and Van der Ven this time. I just love that man. I think he's so underrated, and I think we are so lucky to have him. Remember, he was almost at Wolves. We hijacked, and delighted we did, because I think he is such a good player. Such a good player.
Yeah. Both of them great. Porro, again, I mean, not again, but I think like his passing was a lot better in this game. Yeah. I think first half, he was such a threat, him and Odegaard, the way they were combining in the first half. Obviously, he had to go into midfield because he got another injury to Lucas Bergvall. And yeah, when he went into midfield, I still think he kept up some sort of level of performance. I think passing, he put a few wayward passes after he went into the midfield, and obviously he should have sealed it off 3-0 right at the end with a lovely bit of play from Javi Simmons. But I thought he upped his game today. I think everyone just upped their game today. And Jed Spence out on that left wing, like, where did that performance come from? Like, where?
The suits. It's the suits where the suits.
They all walked in suits today. But What happens now with Jed Spence? Do we give him another game at left winger at Burnley this weekend? Does Tell come back in? Because there's the Tell situation to talk about as well. Like, look, I'll tell you, I was the one that tweeted it out. I was the one that put it on Instagram, #FreeTell.
Yep.
And I've got egg on my face today talking about that because Solanke and Spence both put in an unbelievable performance. But you've got to think, where does this leave Matty's Tell? Because obviously he's pushing for a move now after being omitted from the Champions League squad. I think the treatment of him has been dreadful so far from Thomas Frank. But you've got to say, on this occasion, he's been proven right.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, what people got to look at as well, there were so many people that went mad at that situation, like you said. Thomas Frank has got it right. And even I've been criticising Thomas Frank recently since the Bournemouth game, whatever. If we're going to criticise for wrongdoing, you've got to praise for right doing.
Absolutely.
And he's got that right there. But like you said with Porro, he has looked so exhausted. And I will keep saying, if there's anyone that deserves a rest in this football club, it's him. Whether it be a game, 2 games on the bet, whatever. He was so energetic today.
Yeah.
It's like he'd been conserving his energy for the last 2 games so he could burn it all off on this one. He was pinging crosses in. He was getting forward. They were trying that long ball with Xavi like they did for Richarlison against Brentford. We look back at this, and that team performance from the 11 that started, obviously Bergvall is going to be a concern, but obviously Gallagher could come in there, so that's that one sorted. But these players today have done the manager proud, have done themselves proud, done the fans proud, and Tottenham Hotspur, where have you been? Let me just say hello again. We like seeing that, Tottenham. Let's hope it stays around for a while, for February.
Absolutely. And, after that great performance, it leaves us 4th in the Champions League group, above PSG after they lose today, which leaves us going into the top 8 into the last game of the Champions League. That's for certain. We can't drop out the top 8 now in this game week of the Champions League. We got an away game against Eintracht Frankfurt. If we win that, we're most certainly in the top 8, and
which would be a brilliant accomplishment.
And we miss out on that playoff and go straight into the last 16, which is absolutely fantastic. Yep. And nobody thought that was going to be the case before this game. Nope. Where does that leave Thomas Frank now? Because obviously there was a unified voice in the fan base saying Thomas Frank's got to go with what he's shown so far this season. Obviously I said it, you said it, everyone said it. Does this performance change anything?
I tell you what would be very interesting. Hopefully some people calling the fan show that were there, and they can say what the mood was like within the stadium, whatever. And we don't know if it got signed off yesterday or Sunday. We've got no idea what's in the club. You put that poll out, and it was mainly, what was it, giving Burnley?
Giving Burnley was the majority, and then second was out, and then third was in.
Like a lot of people said, it's one performance. We've said, how many times we said that when we saw the Brentford performance, when we saw the Crystal Palace performance, which wasn't the greatest job done. It's come a lot in these one-off performances, haven't they? So you can understand the scepticism on, it's just another performance. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, you can't predict on. If we said, you should get Burnley, we'll probably hear he gets sacked. If we say he gets sacked, we'll hear he gets Burnley. You just never know what this football club's going to do.
I just don't know what to think anymore. I really don't know what to think, because I was adamant. I've been adamant. I was saying it's crazy. How is he still in a job? Why haven't they sacked him yet? And now after that performance, I'm just like thinking, what am I supposed to think now? What am I supposed to think?
Nick will probably go, Steve, we know what we're doing. You see people, why are you going nuts at us? We know what we're doing.
But I think they have to give him the Burnley game now, surely.
If it wasn't signed, sealed, delivered already...
If it's signed, sealed, delivered already, then he would be out of the job. He wouldn't be managing this game.
After this game. No, I'm saying if they said, right, after this game, it's done, then there's no turning back, is there?
Because we're all saying, like, it's a disgrace on Enoch. How can you throw him to the wolves like that? How can you put him in that situation? It's his toxic... There's no toxic atmosphere in the stadium today because of the way we played. And he was a manager that got them to play that way. So I said before the game, even if he wins this game, he should still go.
Yep.
That's what I said before the game. But first of all, I didn't have 1 ounce of belief that we could win this game. So I was just saying, I was just saying it, basically. And second of all, even if we were to win it, I didn't envisage us to heavily dominate in the way that we did and play the football that we did. And, it was 2-0, could have been more. Could have been a lot more today. So I think they have to give him the Burnley game. I think it's right for the jury to still be out on Thomas Frank, and if we back this up with a poor performance at Burnley, then I think it's probably still right to cut your losses and go your separate ways and to bring in a new manager or an interim manager to the end of the season. But we've seen good performances this season, but it's always been backed up with a poor performance. So, yeah, I think I don't think they won't sack him now until after Burnley, surely.
Well, you look at this now as well. Let's just say we do get a good result against Burnley. Well, let's just say don't lose. Have they set a precedent to say, right, February, all these matches are not really winnable unless you're like literally on fire, you're safe for all of February? Because you got to remember, if we only pick up a point or whatever and February is as bad, at what point do you say, right, but then we could have qualified to the quarterfinal or the last, 16 or 32 of the Champions League?
Well, but put it this way, Ange only stayed in a job because he was still in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Is Frank going to stay in a job as long as he's in the Champions League?
Who knows? You just never know. We are a social experiment. That's what we are. We are an experiment of abnormality.
I just don't understand this football club. But look, let us know in the comment section below. Like, are you guys still Frank out, or even if you are Frank out, do you think on the back of this performance he deserves the Burnley game? Because I still think I side with Frank out, but I think he deserves the Burnley game. But that just doesn't make sense. So
this club doesn't. Has there been any press bits from Frank on Twitter?
Not yet. It's a bit too early for that. It'll come out in the next 10, 15 minutes, I think.
Okay.
But, if he does get the Burnley game, and if we do have a very good performance and win the game,
yep,
then what does that say?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think we have more shots today than we've had in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know what anything means.
Like, we emphatically beat this Dortmund side, who was second in the Bundesliga and having a very good season. And they were level on points with us in the Champions League.
I'm not having any. The 10 men changed it. I don't think.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
even with 11, we were too much for them. They created nothing.
Like, this was a massive game today.
Huge.
This was a massive game today, and we've just swept aside our opponent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't believe what I saw. Like, look at the stats, right? 2.23 XG for Spurs, 0.38. So Dortmund having a bit of Thomas Frank XG themselves. 16 shots to 6 shots, and most of those 6 shots comes in the last few minutes for Dortmund. Where's the shots on target? We've had 5 shots on target to Dortmund's 1.
So as much as 1?
They had 1 shot on target. Over. Yeah, that was it.
The header.
That was it. So, I mean, Vicario pretty much for the majority of the game could have been in a sleeping bag and not have to do anything. That's how good our defence was in terms of Danso, Romero, Udogie and Porro.
Yep.
Not to mention Janai Beifeld. Comes on and makes his debut for Tottenham Hotspur. Academy graduate at 17, comes on at right back to move Porro into midfield. What a day it is for him.
Unbelievable. Obviously, we'll wait to see. It didn't look good for Bergveld, did it? It looked like he was holding his calf more than his
he tried to run
groin,
off. But...
So let's hope that's not too long. But we now have Gallagher available, don't we? And Bissouma will be, if he's going to be part of the team. So there is cover there, so to speak.
But look, that is the situation. Spurs will be in the top 8 going into the last group stage game in the Champions League. I want to know your opinions in the comment section below. Does this change anything to your opinions on Thomas Frank? Is it a wait and see job? Because at the end of the day, if you are going to change manager, it is only going to be an interim. And what does that look like for the rest of our season? What does that look like, having an interim in? Do we may as well give Frank the chance to turn it around after that performance?
Mate, I just don't know what to say anymore. When it comes to this football,
I'm lost. I'm just completely lost.
I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah. But look, Spurs have won 2-0. It's a great night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that keeps our Champions League run going. And 1 game left to go. Frankfurt away next week to seal our spot in the top 8. No, I'm not going. I'm going to be here in the studio. So very much looking forward to that. And look, we shall see what happens. And that is your instant match reaction. I see that comment. Ben, stop flip-flopping. How can I stop flip? Like... You change your opinion based on evidence. based on evidence. That was evidence today.
It was.
And I'm not sitting here and saying Frank in. I am still Frank out. But he can change opinion.
He can, but what I will say with this is, like we were saying earlier, when we have seen performances like this, obviously not to the standard of opponent in Borussia Dortmund, and we thought, okay, here we are. Is this going to be the moment? Is this going to be the moment? We've reverted back to type. So I can understand a majority of people feeling like this could be a one-off.
And it very well could be, because we've seen it before.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But like we said, Frank does deserve praise today. He has got absolutely everything right. From the selection, from the left fielder, Spence on the wing, the tell out the squad, and Solanke, everything he did, he's got right today. And he's been absolutely slammed with criticism, even from people that really, really believed in him like you and me. Today, he does deserve a little bit of praise for getting everything absolutely bang on the money.
Yeah.
Will that change the scenario? Only time will tell.
The thing is, right, if we kind of just like limped over the line and just about got the victory, like I think everyone would still be completely like, nah, he's got to go tonight. He's got to go tonight. And that would be fair enough. But the emphatic nature of our victory and how well we played today has got to raise question marks, surely.
I think it will do. I think this board will see it as another opportunity to do this. Well, if they are, then we need to bring in some reinforcements, because whoever the manager is, they need quality brought in, and we're running out of time to do so. So what an interesting week and a bit we're in for.
But look, let's get it right. I don't think anyone right now, that performance doesn't change anything in terms of people saying, I'm Frank in, he's the answer. That's definitely not the case. But what I think it does do, it raise a few question marks of should he be sacked from now until the Burnley game. That's the big question. That's the question marks it raises, in my opinion. Yep,
you're right.
All right, let's get into a few super chats just before we move on to our first guest.
I can see our first guest has decided to dress like me.
I think it's the first time he's come on after a win as well.
He's decided to dress. He's eating for a change.
Power Chord says, wow, what we could do when our hearts are in it. If they had that mentality every game, the narrative would be way different. Frankfurt win guarantees top 8, possibly draw, depending. I don't want to disturb Frank's Champions League run. Who got the Rico? Can't blame Frank when player blunders goals. Deep Sleep says, we win tonight, lose to Burnley, Frank out, Ange in, win the Champions League, finish 17th, Ange out, rinse and repeat.
Frank. Go for it.
Chuckles says, Frank seems a nice guy, but he is not for me. But the board believe in Frank. Has the riot of sacking managers and giving more time ended? New era? ? CDO Spurs, big up Nate, says, at this point, it's one game at a time. Still want him gone, but that was an excellent performance.
Top comment.
SRV for life says, great performance. It actually looked like the players were up for it. How much was playing against 10 men a factor, though? I still don't know. They looked a better side before that. And Jason Turner with a super chat with no comment. So those are the super chats. And let's get in.
Is this what's good on here?
We're just tangled up a little bit here. Don't you worry, Brian. No, now we're tangled up even more.
What is going on here?
1 second, Stel. We'll be with you once we finish untangling our wires.
We got here an hour before the game and could have done it.
Let's get Stelios on.
Big up, Stel, bro.
Stelios, how you doing, my bro?
How good is it to watch Tottenham play attacking football, scoring goals, and winning a game of football? I mean, how refreshing is it to actually watch that on a field of play? I forgot what it looked like. I genuinely can't remember the last time we attacked for 90 minutes and won a game of football.
Yeah, it's nice to jog your memory, Stel, in the European competition as well. We've swept Dortmund aside today. How much of an impact do you think the red card had?
It's impossible to tell. It's impossible to tell because we were all over them before the red card, so it's hard to tell, guys. I mean, it happened quite early on in the game, so you'd probably say, yeah, look, it did have an impact because there was still 75 minutes of football to be played.
Yeah.
But we were the better team before it.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I'd look at it.
I mean, there was such top performances on the pitch today from each and every player that started. I mean, we were down to the bare bones today. Jed Spence out at left wing. Not many players on the bench to come on and change things. I mean, Javi Simmons today, what a performance he put in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I want Danny Kay to come on tonight and tell us how shit all the players are. Danny, I want to see you on tonight. Tell me how crap these players... I'm having fun. I love Danny. This has been my big moan with Frank all season, is that nobody is going to tell me that these players are as crap as we've been watching. Okay, nobody. Tonight we played Borussia Dortmund, who have only lost one game in Germany all season. They've only lost a couple of games in Europe. Okay, they're no mugs. This isn't a crap average. Oh, we're playing Copenhagen. We're playing AZ Alkmaar. No, this is a good team we played tonight. Okay, and we were all over them. And it comes down to two things for me. Number one, we stopped playing this ridiculous 4-3-3, which I've been criticising every single week. It doesn't work every game. You can't keep playing 4-3-3. And when people say, oh, we haven't got the players, we can't do... We were depleted tonight. This is the weakest Spurs team we've put out, so we can do it. So that's...
Does it help as well, Stel? No Paulinho, no Bentancur. You've got Archie Gray and Bergvall sitting, two forward-thinking players.
Stel, let me just add on to that. Let me just add on to that as well for you to go on. Ben just mentioned the forward-thinking players. I'm going to mention a player that I adore, and I think he makes such a difference. Having Destiny at that left back, that natural left footer, getting up and down, I think our best performances have come when he's at left back to add that balance. And obviously with the two forward-thinking midfielders Ben mentioned, I think they've had a major impact today.
Well, yeah, this was going to be my second point. So my first point was stop this 4-3-3 nonsense. My second point is we have got attacking fullbacks at this club. Porro, Spence, Udogie. Before they came to Tottenham, Porro at Sporting Lisbon, Udogie at Udinese, and Jed Spence at Nottingham Forest. Go and watch them play, and then look how Frank's been making them play this season. When they're allowed to push up further and to be more attacking, this is what you will see more often. Not every single week, but you will see this more often. And I think Frank was forced into it tonight because of the injuries. But these are things I've been saying for weeks. Push the fullbacks higher up the pitch. You don't have to keep playing 4-3-3. Xavi Simmons, he can't just play by himself in that role in a 4-3-3 system. He played in a 4-2-2-2-2 at Leipzig. Now today we had more midfielders, which meant he was allowed to link up and connect with more players in the middle of the park. These are things I've been saying. It's frustrated the hell out of me that it's taken an injury crisis for Frank to say, right, I better change it up here because I haven't got the players to do what I normally do. But that was the difference for me tonight. We're more on the front foot and we're more aggressive down the channels when we actually play a system that allows these players to play better because we're playing them to their strengths. Now, it doesn't mean this will happen every week, guys, because we're going to have bad games. But I've seen too many bad games where the players look completely lost, completely out of their depth, and that allows fans to say they're all shit, they're all crap, this squad's rubbish. But they're not. They're not crap. They're not great. But tonight they showed against a good Dortmund team, if we're allowed to play in a slightly different way with a different system, we have got something about us that will cause teams problems. And that means we should be further up the league table, not 14th.
Well, Stel, you look at it as well. I think a major factor in that, which helped us as well, was obviously Solanke with his hold-up play. What did you make of Solanke 70 minutes?
That's got to be one of the most flukiest goals I've ever seen.
Oh, mate, that's 1-2 with himself. The 1-2 with himself, brother.
Yeah, don't forget the fluky assist from Odegaard as well, how he gets...
that's Bergkamp Pest. That was Bergkamp Pest. That was Menz.
at the end of the day, he's a striker, right? If you get the ball into the danger area, the whole point of having players that can get the ball into the dangerous area is something drops for you. And it dropped for Solanke. Okay, a couple of ricochets, but unless you get those balls into those areas and there's someone in that position to actually get onto the end of it, then you'll never know what will happen. So I'll tell you what I will say though about tonight. I'm not going to get carried away with it because I remember when we played Burnley first game of the season, we won 3-0. Richarlison scored 2 world-class Puskas goals. And then we went away to Man City and we were fantastic. I mean, that City performance was superb. And then we kind of unravelled a bit, then we won, then we lost, and then since then the wheels just came flying off. Unless there's some consistency in the approach to the game, the team selection, and how we set up, then tonight will just be a purple patch and we'll go back to normal. So we could beat Burnley next game and everyone's like, yay. Okay. Are we going to stick to this when we go and play Man United, Man City, Arsenal, when we've got that really difficult February period? Or are we going to go, right, no, everyone back, 4-3-3, play not to lose? Because then it's going to be an absolute catastrophe and it'll be a disaster. So tonight in isolation, very happy, really good. But I want to see this happen more often now, and for us to play a system that frees Xavi Simons and allows the fullbacks to get high up the pitch and be more attacking. So let's see what we do against Burnley. If I was Frank, I'd be in two minds. Do you bring back Van der Ven? Do you bring back Conor Gallagher? Do you bring back Basuma? Do you bring back all these players that didn't play tonight? Or do you say, do you know what? Let me go with that starting 11 from tonight. And
Bergval's got to come out. Yeah. Bergval's injured.
Okay, so Bergval comes out. That sorts itself out. Do you let Mateus Tell come back in, who's actually been playing okay for us more recently? These are big decisions Frank's going to have to make. And I wouldn't want to be in his position for that, by the way, because if he does go and change it all when we lose, he's going to get absolutely torn to pieces for the changes. But if he sticks to it and he doesn't make the changes and we lose, everyone's going to say, oh, why didn't you? He's in a bit of a difficult situation going into the Burnley game now. It's a tough call because for me, I personally don't like breaking up a winning formula. And those players tonight will come off the pitch with confidence. And I think if you start them the next game, they start the next game with confidence. So for me, I would hardly make any changes. The only change I would make is maybe bring in Van der Ven for Danzo, and that's it. And see what happens.
Still, I'm kind of glad you said that because I was going to ask you. I said it, I can't remember what game, and I've seen a few people in the chat say it. I actually think we look more defensively secure when Danzo's there. Don't get me wrong, Romero and Van der Ven are the top two, but every time Danzo comes in, whether it be to deputise for Van der Ven or like today, or Romero when it was at Newcastle, I don't know what it is. Because of his aerial dominance, I think we look more settled at the back when Danzo's in. Not saying he should be first choice, but again today, he's winning everything in the air. He's so dominant and so powerful. I don't know if I would drop. I think, like you said, changing a winning team, I don't know. I don't know at the moment with Danzo. I think he deserves a start.
Which is why we should play with a back three.
Yeah.
Because Van der Ven, what anyone says, he's our best defender at the club. Then you've got the facts, as you just said, about Danzo. And Romero, whatever abuse and hate Romero gets, yet again he pops up with a goal. Yep. Yet again, when we need someone to lead the charge or get us out of a pickle, there he is doing what he does. So I'd love to see us go to a back three with the fullbacks pushed up really high, one holding mid, two attacking mids. For me, I've wanted that since probably about November when I realised what this squad is and isn't capable to do. The problem is, Brian, if you start Danzo in the back two, who are you dropping?
That is the issue. That really is the issue. I agree with you with the back five.
You can't start Danzo regularly over Van der Ven or Romero.
Not regularly, but
this is the dilemma. If you're going to play
non-stop
Danzo,
rotation, But
that's the beauty of having a good defender as a backup. Yeah. Once one of them is out, one can deputise very well.
A little bit more safe and solid when he's there. I honestly do. Whether it's because Van der Ven's bombing forward or whatever, or Romero is streaming forward like he has done, Danso's always there. He is always dependable. And I don't care what anyone says, aerially, he's our best defender by a country goddamn mile.
Still, you just can't understand this football club. Whenever you think Spurs going to win, everyone was saying before the West Ham game, yeah, we're shit, but we're going to win this game, and we lose it. Before this game, everyone's saying, we got no chance, we're going to get battered. We've only got 11 fit outfield players. We go and win the game. I see you after the West Ham game, and both of us are saying, all right, Frank's got to go tonight. You're fuming, I'm fuming. We're both in agreement saying, Frank, this is it for Frank. This is the end of the road. He's got to go tonight. They leave him in for the Dortmund game, albeit it looked like he was sacked. What is the opinion now? Has your opinions changed at all? Because obviously we were both dead set on Frank's got to go.
No, it hasn't changed. I think tonight...
So would you sack him still then? Tonight?
Yes. Because I think he was forced into this situation tonight because of the injuries and the players that are ineligible to play and suspensions. I don't believe we would have set up the way we did tonight if we had... Conor Gallagher, Basuma, Van der Ven, Palhinha, Tell still in the squad. I don't believe we would have set up like this tonight. I think it was forced. There was a game this season where we went away to PSG and we started with Bergvall and Gray. Do you remember?
Yep.
And that was we were saying, what are we doing with these two in midfield?
Yeah.
Everyone was saying that was a really good performance. Really, it happened again tonight. Bergvall and Gray, but Bergvall and Gray can't be the solution. Because we've seen games where they do play together, it doesn't work. Just sometimes, everything drops for you. We got off on the right foot. The way we set up suited the players that we had on the pitch. Them going down to 10 men, things fell for us nicely tonight. If you see this for 4 or 5 games in a row, then the conversation about maybe Frank can turn this around. But I don't believe he's going to do this for the next 3-4 games.
Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility though, like with all the noise coming into this game, basically everyone's saying he's a dead man walking. Is there a possibility that finally the penny might drop with him?
No, because I think he was forced into this, Ben. I think tonight...
No, I get that, but because he was forced into it and he's seen the performance that these players have produced, is there a possibility on the back of that the penny might have dropped with him?
We'll have to wait and see. I can't answer that question. We'll have to... Listen, by the end of February, you'll know the answers to everything.
But surely they can't actually sack him now, can they?
Well, you know what? Just quick on that. Maybe this meeting that they had... One of the stipulations may have been no more of this type of football. You now go full throttle, and if we have one more lacklustre, I mean, this is me just spitting ideas out.
Then who's in control? Then who's in control of the team?
That's the other issue. That's the other issue still. That's
the other
issue.
Vinay and Lange in the dugout. Look, away from home, we've got the second best record in the league. At home, we're the most horrendous club in Europe, in the league. In the Cups, we've crashed out of all of them. And in Europe, we haven't lost at home in 24 games. So
this club,
nothing makes sense.
And this was probably the hardest one on paper of the lot.
At home, yeah. At home, definitely. So nothing makes sense, guys. It doesn't make sense. We play anybody. Anyone can come to Spurs in the league. West Ham, Fulham, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they'll beat us, or they'll get a result of some kind. Sunderland, doesn't matter. Brentford, whoever comes to us, they'll get a result. We go away, and we're different. We're more resilient. We can get a draw at least, a couple of wins. In Europe, we're a different side in Europe. We've got something about us, more resilience. A bit more luck, like against Monaco. We had quite a bit of luck in that game. I can't explain it. When I was growing up, people used to say to me, there's something about Tottenham Hotspur midweek under the lights. There's just something about Tottenham on a European night. And I think that kind of plays into it as well, where we just seem to be up for it in Europe. And we've always been like that for years, under Poch, under Redknapp, under Ange, under most managers, we were up for it midweek, under the lights. So it's so difficult. But if you go back to last season, this was a very similar situation. Loads of injuries, going into a big game, and the board decided to keep Ange, and this year it seems like they've decided to keep Frank. The problem is, Ange actually had a chance of winning the Europa. Whether we believed he would do it or not, it was a realistic chance.
Yep.
Guys, there's no way we're winning the Champions League. And it's not me being negative. I watched Arsenal tonight. We aren't getting past them. Even Inter Milan were good tonight and they lost. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. Guys, this is a different competition. We're not going to win it. So if you're going to keep Frank because we're doing well in Champions League games, then we're going to go to hell in the league. We really are going to end up in deep shit in the league. So you're not going to have the Europa Cup to have this big parade at the end of the season and automatic European qualification. If we're going to be in Europe next season and we're going to have the money from Europe, we need to focus on the league. But if it's Champions League that's keeping his job, mate, how is that going to work out this year? Because it can't. It's going to end up in catastrophe. We had an exit strategy last season. There was a way out of the mess last season. And that's why Ange focused on that. Is Frank going to go all in on the Champions League? Is he going to do what Ange did? Because I don't think he's going to pull it off. I don't think any manager can pull it off with this current squad.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely spot on. But we were saying his job was untenable after the West Ham game. Surely this buys him a little bit more time at least.
Yeah, it will. It will buy him more time. It will. I want to say we're going to beat Burnley, but I said that about West Ham.
Don't say it.
Just say we'll lose and we'll win.
Exactly. Reverse psychology.
Yeah. Look, but Burnley are going to win 3-1. We don't stand a chance. You know, Turf Moor, difficult place to go this time of year. You know, Scotty Parker, he knows how we are as a club.
Yeah, Marcus Edwards.
Yeah. It's such a conundrum because if we continue to be bad in the league, this enjoyable, happy fans going home with a smile on their face, it's going to be very, very short-lived. And within the next 2-3 games, it's going to go straight back to what we saw against West Ham, that atmosphere, that mood. It's a massive, massive gamble keeping Frank for me, in my opinion, because we just seem to be all right in Europe.
Yeah.
But it's the league that's the big problem for us. We haven't even got a cheeky FA Cup run just to keep us a little bit content. It's the league and the Champions League. I don't believe this squad can do both. I simply don't. Yeah. And that's where it's going to be a challenge for us this season. But as a one-off game, that I'm glad we won. It's nice to watch us play attacking football. It's nice to watch us dominate a team. And it's nice to see our players putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, it's nice to see everyone with smiles on their faces. That's the main thing. After Saturday, I mean, I thought I wasn't going to smile again for the rest of the season, to be fair. But we've got a super chat for you, Stel, from the one and only Danny Kiriakou. And he says, Stel, it's one game. They can't play it week in, week out. I always say this. Saying they can do it is so ridiculous. These players have proven they cannot do this every single game. What would you say to that?
These players are stuck in a rigid 4-3-3 formation, which doesn't work for them most weeks, Danny. Tactical Frank, strategic changing Frank, has been so rigid in his approach to most games this season. Tonight, we're in a back five, out of possession, into an attacking play with the fullbacks pushing really high up and overlapping. More plays in the middle of the park surrounding Xavi Simons is a completely different approach. We were on that front foot pressing from minute one, and we didn't take our foot off that gas the whole game. Normally, We press for the first 15 minutes, and then we pull back and let the other teams come at us. So I disagree with Danny. We played a completely different system tonight. We didn't even know if it was Porro or Spence that was going to be the winger today. We didn't even know, and that's what I mean about us being different tonight in our approach. What I'll also say as well, and to all the fans out there that want to slander Udogie, we are a much better team with Udogie. If you can't see that, I don't know what you're watching. He's a good player.
Yep.
Injuries have hampered him. Yes, he has the odd bad game. Everyone has a bad game, right? But when he's got a run in the squad and when he's fit, we are a much better team. We were a better team with him when Ange was here, and we're a better team with him when Frank is here. So I don't want to hear all this Ben Davis hype. Oh, Ben Davis had a good game.
Don't worry, Ben Davis has played his last game for Spurs still.
Yeah, and it's a sad way for him to leave if it's on an injury. But I want to praise Udogie tonight, because what Udogie does is he does free the player in front of him to be more proactive, to be more direct, to be more adventurous. And also, he's a player that defensively is a good player when you compare him to Porro on the other side. Udogie can actually defend, right? He's not prime Danny Rose, but a fit Udogie makes Tottenham Hotspur better. And I don't like it when people kind of use him as a target, because we target a lot of players at this club. Oh, he's shit, he's shit, he's shit, he's shit, he's shit. Everyone's shit. The whole club, they're not. There's players that shouldn't be here because they're not at the level we need. We know that. We know who they are. But there's also players here that get given a bad rep unfairly. And I honestly believe if Udogie could stay fit and give us a good, 4 months of the season left, we're a much better team with him in on the pitch than without him.
Still, I think all our best performances this season have come when he's on the pitch. Seriously,
if you look at last season, when Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero and Porro were all fit, Ange's win rate was really high. We actually won a hell of a lot of games when all four were fit. The problem is, there's always one of them either injured or suspended, or we never really have those four all fit at the same time. And with Jed Spence, who can slot into the wing-back roles as well, it makes us more versatile. But I agree with you, Brian. Udogie, we definitely get more positive results with him on the pitch.
Stel, last question. If we do go into that Burnley game this weekend and we see the same dynamics of the team that we saw today, do you think your opinion or a lot of fans' opinions will start to change?
Difficult, because it's Burnley, isn't it? They're the worst team in the league. Or one of the worst teams in the league.
But even against poor sides this season, we've still seen us be defensive and quite rigid.
I don't know, because away from home, Ben, we're actually not a bad side away from home.
But we haven't been playing like that. We've been relying on set pieces a lot away from home.
I'll stick to what I said earlier on. If I see what I saw tonight happen for the next 3, 4, 5 games, then I'll say yeah.
So let me just caveat that as well. What if the performances are like this, but let's just say this game of Manchester City, we play the way we did, but we take 2 points. We get draws in both, but the performances are there, but the results are not, where we've had the results not being there and the performances not being there. So what would you say if we came out, played the next 2 games in the league, the way we've played tonight, attacking free-flowing football, but we get 2 points?
See, this is the fuckeries of the situation. Man City, we always beat them. I don't know what it is. Whenever we play them, we beat them, don't we? It's the one team, we're either going to get 3 points or we're getting a draw. It's so hard to judge based on the next couple of games, which is why I said the next 4 or 5, because that will be a real gauge. Because you've got Burnley, who are second from bottom. Spurs aren't too shabby on the road.
Yep.
Then you've got what do you call
Man
it?
City.
I'll tell you what, Brian. We've got Frankfurt away as well, haven't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that would be a more fair reflection. Because
our next,
we've been rubbish on the road in Europe. So let's see what happens on the road.
Put it this way, Stel. Our next 4 games: Burnley away, Frankfurt away, Manchester United away, I think, then Man City at home.
No,
I think.
Man City first.
Man City at home, then Manchester United away. Manchester United, I think we're unbeaten in our last 5 or 6 games against them, including a Europa League final. Man City is Man City.
I think we're going to play a different Man United under Carrick.
Yeah, I
watched them against Man City. Just some of the basic one-touch passing they were playing, they weren't doing that under Amorim. And Bruno Fernandes looked like a man possessed. If they are still like that when we play them, I think we're in big trouble. I think we're in big trouble when we play them because they looked good. But let's see, because that could just be a little honeymoon period for them as well. Look, I'd like to think we're going to beat Burnley. We're going to get at least a draw at Frankfurt, because now we're in a position where I think just a draw automatically qualifies us for the next round. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it a draw we just need?
I don't think so.
Because we're 5th in the table now, or 4th.
We're 4th.
In the Champions League table. How mad is that, by the way? How mad is that?
Insane.
You can't write this shit, man.
I think, how many points from us until the 9th place team in the Champions League at the moment?
Well, there's a whole round of fixtures tomorrow, obviously.
Oh, of course. Okay, yeah. All right, forget what I said. Really, we need to beat Frankfurt. So you'd like to think we're going to go for it and not settle just for a playoff, which is another 2 games in February, which will affect our fixtures in February. So I'm going to say, look, we beat Burnley, a draw in Frankfurt. I mean, this Man City team on the ropes, man. Bodo Glimt tore them to pieces.
Dr. Tottenham.
Yeah, they got Gehi in now, though.
And Haaland.
I'm going to say a draw against Man City because we're their bogey team. I think we lose to Man United away, though. I think that now has become a very different game. So 1 win in the league, 1 loss, 1 draw, and a draw at Frankfurt. I think Frank keeps his job, if that's the case.
Then a small matter of the North London derby coming after that.
Ooh, we're going to get whooped. We're going to get whooped. I'm not even going to pretend or even be like, yeah, do you know what?
I'm not doing it this time.
Mate, Arsenal are the real deal, man.
Mate, they couldn't even beat Nottingham Forest last week.
Yeah, but they can't be beaten. They don't lose. They don't lose games, this Arsenal team. It's just the worst thing that could be happening to us. But yeah, man, look, they've got the ability to bring on 8 subs and completely change the entire game. Their bench is the best in the league, guys. And
their whole bench gets into our first team.
Look at our bench tonight. Look at our bench tonight. There's a bunch of 17-year-olds.
Yeah, to be fair, we had 15 players out for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I just look. Never say never. You go into North London derby more hope than belief, but yeah, I don't want to talk about that game yet. Let's deal with it when it comes. I don't want to talk about it.
Big up, Stel, mate. Thanks for coming on today.
Stel,
and
we got to
we'll
meet
speak
up.
to you next time.
I go next Thursday. We got to meet up.
Yeah, we say it every show, so we'll meet up.
We'll speak tomorrow. We'll speak tomorrow.
All right, guys.
Sort it.
Have a good one. Come on,
mate, Stel. Come on, you Spurs. Big up to Stelios.
I think a load of super chats in as well.
Yeah, I think there were quite a few. Fossey says, let's have a back 3 with Romero in the Dyer role in possession. Get Kuti further up the pitch. Get Kuti in the box as much as possible for Porro. I mean, I wouldn't be against that at all. Would not be against that.
Like Stel said, I'd love to see a back 3. I think you got it all, and Danso offers so much solidity that it may be a way to go forward.
Yeah. Designated Hotspur says, big up, guys. Driving back from the stadium. Great atmosphere. Credit to Frank. And as Stel's side shows, players are not as bad. Saw passion from Frank. Big up.
There we go.
And the real Nate 7 says, last year Udogie and Tell was starting to gel. All right. Nice little rhyming going on over there. Let's bring on Theo.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Theo.
How you doing, Theo, mate?
I'm good. I'm calling from Greece. What I would like to say about this match is I think individual performances are over the manager at this point of view, because I think that, I mean, Frank, he got some positions right, but I just think that if it weren't for those individual positions, I mean, Frank would be out of his job because I don't know if you realize with Odegaard, like his dribbling, yeah, like we've heard from his teammates that he's really good. He's really skilled, all this. Like, I think that like Odegaard is really skilled, but he never could show this off, right? Now I thought in this match that he could show off his skills. He had more freedom. Xavi had more freedom in the middle of the park. I think all these combined are just individual things. But I don't know if you guys realize that about Odegaard, by the way.
Yeah.
I agree with Stelios. I think that Thomas Frank was kind of forced to make this, to set the players up like this. I don't think that he would have set them up if he had more players available. So that's why I'm just saying that I don't think Frank is in a position to lead Spurs. I think we need to sack him. And well, I mean, I wouldn't sack him. I will leave him for the Burnley game, but I just don't think he has what it takes. I think he can't really also he's not a really good motivator for our team. Our team needs to be motivated. They need to fight for our manager every game, like they did with Ange. Every game they wanted to play for our manager, but they don't seem to do this for Frank, and that's an issue for me, to be honest.
Theo, let me just ask you, when you were mentioning about Odegaard, we're used to seeing Odegaard operate predominantly on the left. Obviously today, due to circumstances, on the right. Do you think if he was to continue playing on the right, he may feel a little bit more confident and motivated and putting in performances like that first half, operating mainly off the right?
To be honest, I don't really think I don't think there will be a difference. As I said, we've heard from his teammates that he's really skilled. Like that's something that we kept on hearing, and we weren't seeing him actually take on his man like this, like how he did today. We weren't actually seeing that ever. So wherever you play him, on the right, on the left, it's just individual things that Thomas Frank probably didn't allow him. He probably didn't allow him to take on his man like he did today. I don't know what the hell happened today, but I just saw a different Odegaard, and it's something that just I don't know what's going on with the team. Are they playing? Did they set up differently? Like, did Frank give different instructions? It's kind of interesting to me what happened there. So I wouldn't say that it really had a difference if he played on the left or right. Like, I don't think so.
I wanna go back to a point that you said before about, you know, Frank's still not the right guy, and I would still sack him, but I would still give him the Burnley game. And this is, I'm confused about this in my own head, and I think a lot of fans must be confused about it now as well. It's like, if you're going to give him the Burnley game, but you'd still sack him, what's the point of giving him the Burnley game? Why not just sack him?
Well, I mean, we need these points coming. Like the Burnley game it's really important so we don't get relegated. So if you were to bring a new manager with a new style of play, I think it would actually confuse the players. So it wouldn't bring a better outcome than it would by keeping Frank. But I'm just talking about in the future and more long term. I don't think he's the guy. I would, like as Stelio said, if he had the same outcome in the next 3-4 games, I would definitely like maybe think about it. But I'm just saying, for me, it's really important for a manager to motivate his team, to have the players literally run walls for him, like run through walls. And I'm just not like we've seen what's happened in the last days. And we know that these players aren't really motivated. They don't really stick. They don't believe in his system. So that's just for me. That itself is just for me something telling me that he's not the right guy.
So you're giving him until he loses, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Probably something like that. Actually,
Because if
I
that is
don't
the
know
case, we may as well just sack him now.
no, because like if we sacked him and brought in another guy, like how long? Like would that guy want to stay? Like who are we going
Well,
to bring?
let's say an interim. I think the only guy that we're going to bring in from now to the end of the season will be an interim with bringing in a longer term
Who do you wanna
coach at the
bring?
end of the season. Who?
Who would you bring?
God knows. That's the problem. That's the whole problem Spurs are in right now because we don't know who we can bring in as an interim from till the end of the season.
Like, would you take Glasner? Like
No.
that's
No.
my question. Not as an
No.
interim, as a manager.
No.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, okay. But like the thing here is that I don't think the market has offers any good interim managers. Do you like I can't really think of any interim managers that would fit the way we want to play football, to be honest.
Well, the only ones that spring to mind are people like Ryan Mason, Jurgen Klinsmann,
Ryan Mason, really?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, these kind of guys. This is what you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think you would agree with me here. If things start getting worse, you would also like to sack Frank.
I said sack him at half time at the West Ham game. That's when I said sack him. I had enough after the West Ham game, but
I think we should bring Ange back. I think we should bring Ange back until the summer.
did you see what Ange did in an injury crisis for us?
What do you mean?
We finished 17th.
Yeah, but you're not giving the whole information. There's a lot of things you're missing out there.
What am I missing out?
First of all, the injuries were worse than our current situation. Second of all, we were playing in a Europa League, which we're at the final stages, and we needed to preserve our team, our good players for those matches. So we were putting Archie
Yeah, but that
Graham's-
was only from April. What about the rest of the season?
Yeah, but I mean, how many points did we drop down from April? We wouldn't have finished 17th. We would have finished 11th if we were playing our good team out there for normal Premier League games. And also, this point isn't really brought up too much. He was a person that actually made players want to come to Tottenham. Do you remember that? He would call them up and everyone would like to would want to come to play for Tottenham. That's a really I think James Madison was close, was edging to Newcastle back then. And I think Ange called him up and he wanted to come to Tottenham. But like I remember there was many of those instances. Ange Postecoglou made the team want to fight for him. He made the team ruthless at some games, and that solely is just like he had so many problems. He had so many injuries. We wouldn't know what season 3 would be like. We can't know what season 3 would be like. I think the injury problem is not an Ange problem. It's a Tottenham problem, and you can see that Ange had problems. Thomas Frank has problems with injuries. It's not an Ange Postecoglou problem. It's not his system. It's just Tottenham.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, both of them had injury problems. Ange's biggest problems were in the back line. Frank's biggest problems have been the forward line. And you've seen the flaws in both of the performances. And look, I've been an advocate of sacking Frank. I've been an advocate of Frank at the beginning of the season. I was an advocate of sacking Ange last season. And at the end of the Europa League, I said, give him another season.
I haven't really heard your opinion on Pochettino. Like, would you take him back? Do you think his style of football is kind of outdated? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a possibility that his style of football is outdated. I think that is the direction of travel that Spurs are going in because I think it's an easy win for ENIC because I think they'll bring back a club legend and they've shown it in the past. When they first came in, they sacked George Graham and they brought in Glenn Hoddle, who was a Tottenham legend. And I think that is the ENIC playbook, you know, bring in...
I mean, they brought Gallagher, so they brought Gallagher, so
yeah,
like, these guys went really well
but
together.
what I'm saying about Ange bringing in players. I mean, Frank also brought in big players. He brought in Javi Simmons. He's brought in all the signings that we had in the summer. So, I mean, all managers at Tottenham have been able to bring in players and get on the phone and convince them to come. So that's not just an Ange thing.
True.
Well, at the current situation we were in, I think it was more difficult then, but anyways.
Why?
We were in a tougher situation after Conte, I think. to bring in players than we were like after winning the Europa League.
I mean, we brought in Cuti Romero when we were in the Conference League.
True.
Yeah, okay, but Cuti Romero wasn't the player he is now.
He just won Serie A Defender of the Year when we bought him.
Yeah, but he wasn't a world class. He hadn't won a World Cup then. He wasn't a world class player. I mean, he was a good defender in Italy, but he hadn't made a move to the Major League, to Premier League.
Yeah, but he was still performing at a very high level.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good point. But I'm just saying that I think Ange was a very good communicator.
Yeah, I think that was his biggest strength. That was his biggest strength.
Massive strength.
He played nice football. Like when our team was fit, he played nice football, and he adapted. As you saw from the Mickey van der Ven interview, like you could see that he was adapting slowly. He was adapting. So I think that if he had another season, he would have adapted more and more, and I think we would be in a better position. But why talk about things that aren't happening right now? Let's talk about the current situation.
Absolutely.
We actually met, Ben. I don't know. Yeah, we met in Turkey.
What, in the Galatasaray game?
Yeah. I was wearing like a Tottenham bucket hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably met a lot of people that day.
Good to meet you again, Theo.
Good to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you, Theo.
A good one.
But thanks for calling in today, Theo. And hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Take care, buddy.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Big up to Theo. Thanks for coming
Still
on,
no
my
Frank
friend.
comments?
Let's have a look.
Or Spurs comments, should we say?
Haven't seen anything, but we'll bring them to you when we do have them. Do we have another guest?
We do. Just waiting to bring him on.
So the only comment I can see so far is on Janai Beifeld saying he didn't look out of place. I rate him highly. It's the one thing to make your debut in the final minutes of a game, but to come on in a Champions League game against Dortmund, like the when you need a win. Wow, so calm and assured. And that's what we were saying on the watch song, wasn't
and
it?
you think about it, Dortmund probably said, right, that's a youngster making his debut, target that area. And the team covered him. He did himself proud. And like I said, he's right. Coming in for the last final minutes on a Champions League game is one thing, but he had a substantial amount of time, didn't he?
Says here as well that Thomas Frank walked down the tunnel to a hero's applause after the game.
Oh, he probably loved that. Like I said, this is what Spurs fans have wanted to see. We've all wanted to see a good performance.
I've never seen a more Jekyll and Hyde fan base than Tottenham Hotspur.
Life is a roller coaster, as Udogie, and you said Spurs is a roller coaster.
Let's bring on our next guest, Arav. Arav, how you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, I'm doing good. Calling from Australia.
Nice
doing,
nice to have you on, my friend. Nice to have you on. Talk to me. I mean, like, what is this club, man? West Ham, everyone thought we were going to win. We lose. We played terribly. This game, everyone thought we were going to get battered. Everyone said before the game, Frank's got to go. Frank's got to go. There's no chance we win this game. And we absolutely played Dortmund off the park. Like, can you explain that to me?
I think fundamentally it's like a confidence thing for these guys. When we're playing teams like West Ham, other shit teams, you've got defenders and midfielders playing, gung-ho long balls over the top. They're just trying to, literally, you see people like, even Romero at times just kicking it to the other team's keeper with long balls. Whereas today, we saw that Dortmund were a little weak. We took the time to get into the game and we played around them. We played short passes, short, clean passes, and it worked well.
Yeah, I mean, where did that short passing come from? Because every week I watch Tottenham, we can't make a 5-yard pass.
Yeah, I don't know, man. To be fair, I think it is important to note Dortmund was shit today. Dortmund
were they
bad.
shit or did we make them look shit?
Yeah, I think we made them look shit. I really do.
We played really well, but I don't think it's the same as you going and you're beating a Bayern Munich off the park. It was a really good performance. I think it was probably one of the best performances of the season for sure. But I think it's honestly a good thing that we were able to capitalize on Dortmund being shit because West Ham are a shit team and we made them look great.
True.
So I think that was the key strength from today. We were able to take a team that didn't look on it. I mean, they were missing 5-yard passes. They weren't getting any second balls, any recoveries, and we were able to go right, let's put the foot down. And I think Xavi Simons just led that from the very front. He was absolutely incredible today. I mean, forget his attacking play. I mean, his dribbling, passing, dropping back to distribute the ball, incredible. But just winning those second balls and making those recoveries, for me, that was number one.
Do you know, is there another number 10 that does that in the league at the moment? As well as
the
him,
defensive work is
the defensive side of things, and the getting back and dragging, coming back to support the team. I can't think of another number 10 that does it as consistently as Xavi. What about you, Arav?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, I'm not sure if there's any other 10s who do the defensive and the attacking work as him, but I think in regards to Xavi, I think we're finally seeing now what he could become for Spurs. Because, you know, let's say we're to keep Frank, theoretically, you know, whatever. But you've got Frank who wants that play. He wants a Papsar. He wants a Bergval in the 10 who can do that defensive work, who can run around and put in the hard yards as well as just creating. Mate, Xavi can do that.
Yeah.
And he can offer miles more technical ability and skill than either of those guys can do in a 10.
Absolutely. And when we all saw the team line up today, we see Jed Spence out on the left wing and we're thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? We've left Tell out the squad. We've brought a half-fit Dominic Solanke in and all four to put Jed Spence out on the left wing. I mean, talk me through what your thought process was when you saw the news that Tell was getting dropped out after on the back of his performances, and then your reaction when you saw Spence in the lineup and then afterwards.
Mate, initially I was pissed as hell. seeing, mate, Matthews Tell, last couple of games, forget end product, but he's been the only one who's put any fight for this team in the last couple of games, and he's been getting subbed off consistently despite putting in great performances, and it's been really shocking to see. So I was gutted for him when he got dropped from the squad. But honestly, seeing Spence in the lineup, I just assumed Spence was going to play in a back three. I didn't know he was going to. I thought he was going to play Spence as left centre back, and I thought he was going to play Udogie on the left wing back. But seeing Spence run at men like he did, I mean, he had Jan Kodo on a leash.
Yeah,
mate, he was dribbling through that guy like Prime Wilson Otterbear, mate. He was going really well. So, and that's another thing I want to touch on. I think playing that way freed up Jed Spence a lot. Yeah. I think because usually in the system where we've got, as Stilia said, in the back four, the fullbacks, they're really limited. They're really pushed back and they can't do anything. When you've got a back three like this, you give someone like Porro the time and space that he does to get his delivery right. You give someone like, in this case, Spence, the time and space to think about what he's doing and then go at a man and beat him and get the ball in the box. I think that was really clear today. And whether that means we have to play a back three or not, but something to do with freeing up those wide players, because we've seen it all season. Porro's a better player than he's been showing with those deliveries. Spence is a better player than he's been showing all season, I think. Even.
Yeah, absolutely. And the dynamic of Danso and Romero were just so dominant, particularly in the air tonight. Missing Mickey van der Ven, you're thinking, oh, the defence is going to struggle tonight, but they were so dominant, weren't they?
Not with Magnet ahead. Don't rule out my Magnet.
Maybe everyone apart from Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I reckon Danso, I think he's never going to be a Romero van der Ven level player, but I think he's the perfect deputy you can have at any stage where it's like, you've got a defender missing, you're like, we're going to compromise on the technical ability and on that, world-class nature, and we're just going to go for someone who can get the ball out of there and who is not going to let an attacker get the better of him. He's the number one guy. I think we need him for that. And I think he's going to be a great squad player going forward with any manager.
He has been. Arav, what did you think of, let's go to the top end of the pitch. What did you think of Dominic Solanke's 70-minute performance?
I mean, he was strong. I don't know if anyone else thought, but his hold-up play I thought was decent. I thought it was, he showed good physicality for someone who's coming back from an injury, but I think he needs to also keep in mind that he's got to deliver. That's his minimum now. Because as a striker, if you've got someone like Colin Mwani waiting behind you, mate, did you see him not go for that ball where Spence nearly tracked it down?
Yeah.
When you've got someone like that who's your other option, I think Solanke needs to be starting every game, and he's got to be giving us the level of performance he gave us today. Because he played well, but I think that's got to be his point where, okay, I need to try and play at that level every game. Because if you're not offering that physicality, that hold up, you're not enabling anything such as the creativity of Ottobel or Chet Spence around you to actually thrive.
I mean, for me, I would prefer to send Kolo Muani back and have Tellers the backup striker if we're not going to sign one.
100%.
That's what I would say.
I agree.
You know?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, after the PSG game, I was doubtful on the bias against Kolo Muani. I thought, he's proving the fans wrong. Maybe they're unfair to him. But today just showed to me I don't think he's going to work here.
Yeah, I mean, where are you at? Where are you at with Thomas Frank? Because I think it was the general consensus. I'm sure you were the same after the West Ham game. He's got to go. He's got to go. This guy's a dead man walking. Much to everyone's surprise, he's still in the dugout for the Dortmund game, and we produced what we've produced tonight. So where are you at with the manager now?
Look, I'm still pretty torn up with the whole Ange scenario. With the whole, should we keep him? Should he go? I mean, I know obviously everyone was Ange out, but I was somehow, as an Aussie, proud Aussie, Ange in all the way till the end. I was, back the manager, will win the trophy. And when he won the trophy, I just thought letting him go, we should have sacked him earlier. But then when we won the Europa League, sacking him then, it really hurt me. So I don't think you can sack Frank after this win, if you think of it in the same sense. That sends a really bad message, I think, because if you're saying as a club, we're going to sack a manager who's just won, then you're basically just continuing the history of Tottenham. You're going to say, we don't like winning.
Yeah. But then,
I do respect you guys definitely who are Frank out, and you're continuing to stay Frank out after this win. I definitely respect that.
Yeah, but if that's the case, were you saying that we should have sacked Frank after the West Ham game?
Yeah. If you're going to sack him after the West Ham game, mate. West Ham have been appalling all season. If you want to make a statement, they should have sacked him then. You can't sack him now.
So is he just a manager then just waiting to die, like one more loss, and he's pretty much gone?
It's like we keep resuscitating.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mate, I don't know what to say. You guys are completely right. My heart's telling me I don't want to sack another manager because I've seen it happen 6 times since I became a Spurs fan. Same cycle.
6
every
times.
single time.
It's madness, isn't it?
But my head's telling me yes, he's not the man.
Yeah.
But I don't think the new board are going to do it. I think for them, they're trying to say that was Levy, this is us now. We don't sack managers that easily. We're different. So I personally don't think they will sack him.
Well,
so
go on.
Yeah. Do you think if he goes and gets a draw against Burnley, do you reckon? I think that's the straw. Then he's got to go.
I'm kind of like I was saying to Stel. Let's say we do get a draw, if it's a performance like West Ham and Villa, then I think he's a dead man walking. But if we get a draw and we see a performance like today, do the Spurs board look at it and say, right, do you know what? That's what we want to see, more attacking football, and the results will come if we continue doing it, or do they go, nope, a draw away at Burnley is not good enough, gone. I think this is now going to be based on performances as opposed to results.
I think that's a good approach, to be honest, because that's what Ange used to say in a good way, in a more extreme way, in the sense that a loss or a draw doesn't reflect who I am as a manager. It's what the players showed on the pitch and how we played that reflects who I am and how I am as a manager. So I do think that's a good approach going forward, because if Frank just sits back and, takes it from teams like West Ham, and, Villa have been good this season, but, mate, if you're getting rolled like that by Villa and the way we did, in the first half, completely rolled, I don't think that's acceptable going forward. But if we go to Burnley, put up a strong performance, I would be Frank in still, just.
All right. Arav, thank you so much for coming on today. Really good caller.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Brian. See ya.
See you later, mate.
Really
Big up to Arav.
Really
Me as well, mate. Me as well. Let's keep going, though. Our next caller is Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
How you doing, guys? All right?
Yeah, you?
Top of the world after that performance and that result. How are you?
Oh, mate, honestly. It's like, I didn't expect that whatsoever, especially after Saturday. Like, obviously, I was at the game and walking down that south stand and all singing "Sacked in the Morning." It's like, there's no way I would have expected that today, but that's just Tottenham Hotspur in a nutshell for you. But
it really is. It's like the last two games literally just tells you what a roller coaster being a Spurs fan is. Everyone expecting a win against West Ham, embarrassing performance. Everyone expecting a battering today, and it was a battering, but it was just a battering that Tottenham handed out to Dortmund. So, how do you even begin to assess what Spurs are at this moment in time?
I mean, it's definitely a mess. It's just how it's just how you call it. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, I was definitely in the Frank out camp Saturday and before today, but Frank got it right today. I mean, I thought Spence on the wing was bold. It's probably how I would have maybe done it, but it's incredibly risky, and I don't think many people would have called it at all. I think everyone is expecting to see Kolo Muani on the left and Odegaard on the right. But no, I thought it looked really well. Like you guys have touched on, I think Udogie, having him in the attack makes such a world of a difference, and I think it really goes under the radar with the fans and with other people just across it, because like the width he provides and the energy down the flank and that defensive solidity, I think he just locked down the left hand side today. And yeah, I think overall, I think Solanke as well, having that physical 9 just helps us a lot. But yeah, I'm not getting too carried away because it is just one game. And it would be the biggest Spurs thing to, 1-0 to Burnley at Saturday. But no, it's definitely a step in the right direction, and I think we've got to see these more front-footed approaches from Spurs, because if we carry on with how we are with West Ham and just letting teams come on to us like we have done, Burnley will take advantage of it. If we do something like we did today, I think you'll have teams having a harder time trying to work out what we're going to do, and we might be a bit more successful.
Do you think a large part of that was having the double pivot of Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall? Because usually, you got one of Rodrigo Bentancur or João Palhinha, or players that just don't have the ability, or maybe it's just been an instruction from Frank not to pass it forward. But Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, for me, made the world of difference today in the midfield.
Yeah, definitely. I do probably lean more on the side of it's a Frank instruction, just because, like, I've been at a lot of the home games this season. It's just, I always find it so frustrating. I mean, I look at someone, maybe not so much Palhinha because he's new, but I look at someone like Bentancur, who, granted, he's had injuries and everything, you can put it down to that, but under Conte and even under And when he first come back, he was brilliant. And in terms of like that kind of progressive carry or finding that pass between the lines, you'd think that kind of Bentancur would be perfect for the system. And a Palhinha Bentancur pivot with that kind of Bentancur would work, but you're right, it just hasn't. And I think you see with Bergvall and Gray together, that kind of youthful energy where they are a little bit braver on the ball and not as scared to make a mistake. And yeah, like you say, I think it just made a world of a difference. And they just got that that silkiness on the ball, and it just allowed us to, like Arav was saying, the shorter passes, just zipping it around. It just made us look a lot better. Nowhere near as bad as we were at the weekend.
So right, let's look a little bit forward to the Burnley game. Obviously, it looks like Bergvall is going to be out. So if Archie Gray's going to start in that midfield, and Simmons obviously playing, if he hasn't picked up a further knock after that great performance, looking at it, if Paulinho was available, let's just say, are you putting Gallagher next to a Gray, a Paulinho next to a Gray, or even an Yves Bissouma next to a Gray against Burnley? Who would you go for?
I would. It's so difficult because you've got obviously Bissouma. I think people consider off of Saturday the more progressive option. Spurs need to take the game to Burnley, and people think Palhinha is kind of the passive option. I think it's important to remember with Bissouma, and my personal opinion was that we were so poor against West Ham, and I think everyone in that second half for that 10-minute spell where we kind of looked a little bit brighter was kind of playing off of instincts and off of their own embarrassment, just like they've got their own personal pride to play for. And I don't think just because Basuma, granted he's putting in some tackles, he's doing all right, I don't think Basuma, based on that, is ahead of Palhinha in the pecking order. And I think Palhinha probably gets a bit too much hate in terms of his like on the ball ability. I mean, I refuse to believe he can't make a 5-yard pass and he can't pass the ball forward. I personally think it's the system that prevents him from having the options. But I think with this system today, if you see how much Simmons has dropped in, and great performance as well, I forgot to say, but it's how much Simmons was dropping in to receive the ball and then going. We haven't seen that. So if Simmons can drop in to pick it up from a Palhinha, or you've still got Gray or Gallagher, or whoever he puts next to him to play the passes, that I think it could still work well. It's just, for me, it's always been about Frank this season and his approach. And I think along the same lines of today, I don't see why Palhinha can't fit into this system. And on paper, we should have no problem, but it's Spurs, so don't know.
So does this game change anything for you, for your opinions on Frank, or does it just buy him a bit more time, or is it still just, he's got to go or whatever?
Well, for me, I've probably been on the side of Frank out for a little while. Saturday for me was more, there's no reason to keep him rather than now he's got to go. I was probably like it not too long after the North London derby because I just thought that was an absolute shambles. See, I still feel that he's a loss against Burnley away from the same fan reaction of he's got to go, why are we keeping him? And for me, if you're having a guy stay, he's one game away from the sack, that tells me that we've in the fans' opinion anyway, he's not the man for the job. So we're kind of just keeping him around, for Frankfurt. And I think we are having trouble identifying a suitable replacement and who would want to come. But if we do, then I don't see a reason why they couldn't do a job for the Frankfurt game. But I wouldn't sack him tonight because that just sends a really poor message, and I think that would cause even more problems with the fans. They'd be, you sacked a manager off the back of our first good performance in how long? That would send a really bad message, and it'd get him on the back of the board even more. So yeah, for me, he's still like as walking on as thin ice as possible. I don't think it does much. It kind of just gives a little bit of a glimmer of hope. But I still think if we were to lose Burnley at the weekend, I think the fan pressure comes up again. And equally with Ange, can't ignore the Premier League. If we were to ignore the league with Ange like we're trying to do with Frank now, he's won tonight, I mean, Ange would still be here. And for me, you can't ignore that we're 14th in the league, and in my opinion, another manager could do a much, much better job. So yeah, I think he's still very, very much on the brink, but we'll see.
Yeah. I do kind of agree with that. But looking at it in a kind of a different way, Pochettino was on the brink of a sack before the Aston Villa game, and obviously what happened in that game. Harry Kane came on, scored that free kick, and the rest is history. Could this be kind of Frank's Aston Villa moment with Pochettino?
Yeah, it could be, I suppose, but I just think the difference is, and I won't use Poch as an example, although there's clear parallels. But I always go back to Postecoglou, and I know Sim's very vocal with Ange and everything, and I was as well. But it goes unnoticed that I think that the back end of his first season, we were incredibly poor and we had a really long losing run.
Yeah.
But the thing that kept him in charge was those first 10 games. And it's not that we were clinging on to, we were winning. It's because, we weren't clinging on to results. We were clinging on to a clear idea in the team that we saw. We knew after even one game, but at least 3 or 4, we knew what a Postecoglou Spurs was. It was, attacking football on the front foot, and the fans all got behind it. I certainly did. And we all knew what it was going to look like. So when you can see, an idea and it working, and especially against some of the bigger teams, away at Arsenal, home to Liverpool in those first 10 games, it did put a little bit of credit in the bank for him. But with Frank, personally, I don't think tonight is what a Frank Spurs looks like. I think a Frank Spurs is what we've put up with for the majority of the season. Otherwise, we might have seen more of tonight. I think what Stel was saying earlier, I totally agree with. I think partially he's kind of been forced into it tonight with his team selection. I mean, he's fighting for his job. If he'd lost tonight, I mean, he'd definitely be gone. So I just go back to that. It's not like we've seen for the first 5 games, we've seen a Frank system in motion, and we can cling on to it and say, well, if we back him or we give him these players, or, we've got an idea that we're going to trust in. Like, I don't know what we're doing. For me, it's just sideways and backwards, and, we lose the ball and then we carry on doing the same thing. And that's not something for me worth clinging on to, like what Ange's first few games was, and like Poch's football was. And with Poch as well, we had slightly different point, but Kane being in the team, that's a youth player. I think the youth integration's been so poor, and having those youth players sprinkled in the team, I think, gets the fans on side that they can trust in. But yeah, all in all, I just think it doesn't fundamentally change my opinion. I don't think he's the guy. Like I say, you can't sack him tonight, but personally, I still don't think he'll see the season out. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think if we go, everyone's saying, look, you can't sack him tonight on the back of that performance. And if we see something similar with the same fundamentals and the same values in the team on the weekend, then hopefully it's something that we can move forward. But if we go back to seeing what you're saying, sideways and backwards, and just a generally shit show of a performance that we've been seeing week in, week out, then yeah, he's got to go. So big game for him this weekend, and let's see what prevails, eh? But Ryan, thank you very much for coming on, my friend.
Nice meeting you, Ryan.
No, thank you, guys.
Take care, buddy.
Mate. Big up to Ryan. Let's go to Abhishek.
Hey, Abhishek.
Hey guys, I'm coming on this channel after 5.5 years.
Do
you guys know what was 5.5 years ago?
What was 5.5 years ago? Jog my memory.
It was a Champions League finals.
Ah.
Was that 5.5 years ago? 2018, 6.5.
6.5 years ago, apparently.
6.5.
2019.
We're in 2026.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, but it was in June.
5.5 years ago.
Yeah. You're right. Sorry, maths is.
I am an Indian. My math is right.
Yeah. So welcome back. Good to have you. Obviously, on the back of a very good performance for Tottenham Hotspur tonight. How do you begin to assess Tottenham Hotspur right now? Like, poor for the majority of the season. Frank looked like he was on his last legs before this game. How do you assess it all now?
It's still the same. The win doesn't change anything. We have seen this with Tottenham. I've been supporting this team for almost 17 years now. And I've seen it all. I've seen the Pochettino era, I've seen the Contes, I've seen the Mourinhos. We have had these moments with all of these managers.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we never learn from our mistakes. The biggest problem is we don't need haters. Our fans are our biggest haters.
We got enough of them outside the club as well. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. the club is moving in a different direction. The fans are moving in a different direction. I think we have lost the complete plot of where we want to be as a club. Um, the manager situation, Frank, as soon as he was appointed, I was against it because we have tried these kind of managers that try and implement the systems. Frank is the most technical manager out there, even though he doesn't have a lot of backing in terms of his wins, in terms of trophies and league positions. But he is a technical manager. We have seen those kind of managers come in at Tottenham. Conte was the best example of it, and he could make it work. See, Tottenham as a club, we like to live in chaos. We thrive under chaos. That is our exact motto. To dare is to do, but we never dare to do anything. Liverpool are, I think, third or fourth in the table. Arne
Yeah.
Slot's job is in danger right now. Uh, Moresca was sacked by Chelsea, or they parted ways on mutual
Yeah.
terms or whatever, but he left his job. Amorim left, was sacked by United. They are fifth in the league.
Yeah.
We are sitting 14th in the league, and we are debating whether or not we should sack Frank or not. We are under the same situation that we were under Ange last season.
Yeah.
Literally the same. The only difference is we sort of had an hope and dream that maybe because he is that gung ho sort of manager, we might win the Europa League. And we did win the Europa League. It was a brilliant sort of occasion. I was actually in UK for 1.5 years, and I got to see the new stadium, which was amazing for me as a fan because I got to see the old White Hart Lane and the new stadium. And for you guys, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Okay, you saw a new stadium and then you go there every day. But for us fans that don't really stay in the UK and are connected to the club so deeply, I showed this tattoo. See, I have Spurs written on me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have it on me since I was fucking 17 and 18. I fought with my parents, and that was my first tattoo.
I love it.
So I've been connected to the club that deeply, and seeing the situation that the club is in right now, it's really heartbreaking because why I opened with I'm coming on this channel after 5.5 years is because I think something broke in us during that final because we built up to it. The way we reached the finals, the famous Ajax match, everything was just so set for us. We just had to win that finals anyhow, just how we won the Europa League game, and then the club would have stepped on to something else. We would have become that elite club that we were destined to become, that we were in our history.
Yeah.
But somewhere, maybe it was Levy, maybe it was Enoch, whatever, we didn't back Pochettino. We were like, okay, this is done. He saw Mourinho is on the market. His lips were all. He always wanted Mourinho at
Yep.
Tottenham because Levy had a fascination with him, and that I think that is where the whole thing started going downhill for our club. Because after that, we were just trophy hunting, and I know it might offend a lot of people that are watching right now, but Tottenham is not the kind of club that will go after the big accolades out there. You have to build towards that. You can't just bring in a manager. You have to bring that environment. You have to make the fans of the particular mindset. You have to make everything around the club ready. And in order to do that, you have to burn a lot of money, like City did. City was buying 50 million keeper, the next window, okay, he's not working, another 50 million. But we don't work like that. We can't buy our success. We can't invest that way because you can criticize Levy all you want, but he was a wonderful businessman. He ran the club as a business. He didn't run the football club with passion. And right now, the people that we have in the executive board, they would want to set an example with Frank that okay, we are different. So that is why I think they'll stick with Frank, which I don't think is the right thing to do. Because going off of what has happened last season, we might end up in the same situation without Europe next season, shit league position, and then our top players might think of leaving.
So what's the answer
Rudy,
then?
I think the answer is going back to the roots. And by that, I don't mean bring Pochettino back, because I think once that door is closed, it's closed. Sadly, we could have made it work, but right now the game has moved ahead. I think Poch is really struggling with the US men's team right now. And
I think he's
I don't
actually
think
turned it
there's a
around. I thought he.
Started to.
yeah, I
Started to
saw
get
his
better
match against
performances.
Uruguay as well, and he's got them performing. But I think playing an international friendly one-off game is not really something that I would go off of betting my club's future on. I think he needs to, if he's really serious, he can go and get the Crystal Palace job. He can get his accolades back. He can get his name back. But right now, I think if we really want to take a punt, I think we should go out there and look for a manager that is good with the youth. We have world class youth at the club. We are literally at the situation we were in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We have a Javi Simmons that is waiting to be unleashed. We have Odobe, which is who is brilliant technically, but he just lacks confidence. Kolo Muani, what is he doing in the squad? I don't understand.
Send him back. Send him back.
Abhishek, you were just saying about a manager that's very, very good with youth. So if you were in charge right now, Frank's gone, it's the start of a new or the end of the season. Who do you see in your eyes as that manager to come in and work with the youth?
Right now, there are a lot of managers that are available. Javi is available, not right fit for the club. Again, technical manager. Jabi Alonso is good option, but he's looking at Liverpool job, so
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be looking at us. I think one really wild card name that I can come up with is Julian Nagelsmann, because he did develop a lot of youth at RB Leipzig. We saw that run that he did. He knows how to use the players, and he is sort of, that is what I'm saying. Julian Nagelsmann was supposed to be the successor of Pochettino.
That's what
He
I
was
wanted at
that
the
step
time.
He's
up.
my
Yeah.
number one choice.
Yeah.
If we get rid
Me
of
is.
Frank,
He was that
over
step up,
Poch.
but Levy fucked up right there. He took Mourinho in because he
Yeah.
saw, okay, he's a trophy winner.
Yeah.
Levy always wanted to get that horse out of his back. He wanted that
Yeah.
trophy. And out of all the fucking managers, Ange bought him the trophy. Like that is the kind of club we are.
Do you think Nagelsmann is actually a realistic possibility, though? I mean, I remember saying when Pochettino was sacked, I obviously didn't want him to be sacked, but if we were to sack Poch, I wanted Nagelsmann in next. I remember having arguments with Sim at the time. He was behind the
Yeah.
Mourinho one, and I wanted Nagelsmann. But Nagelsmann, I don't think he's been in a club job since RB Leipzig, which
No, he's
is
not been. He's actually, see, the thing why I recommend Nagelsmann is because he's still young. He's still in the know-how of the game. He's still just, I think he must be 38 right now, which is not that old. You can search it up, and he's actually in the German national team still, I think.
yeah,
So he is still working with the top class, like elite players. Like he's working with Jamal Musiala. He's working with experienced players like Thomas Muller.
yeah.
He's handling big ego still. He's not a manager that is still out of touch of the game at the highest level. So that is why I think Julian Nagelsmann can actually turn things around at the club. And why I recommend him is because he is similar to Pochettino, wherein he's an excellent man manager. He's the kind of guy that will put an arm around the player. He'll give them confidence. He'll never slack them off in the public. He'll always take the blame on himself. He's kind of an hybrid between Ange and Pochettino.
It's a nice place to
Really
be
attacking
sitting.
football, aggressive, right out there, goes and plays for the club. That is the kind of manager that I want. I want a manager that is really aggressive, that he feels pride in managing the club. Not a thought. The problem with Frank is he might be really dedicated to his job, but he treats it as his job. He doesn't have passion for the job.
Yeah.
That is the problem with technical managers. They are more, winning about they are more about winning the second ball, winning set pieces, really being structured, playing. Because I have played football, I know how these kind of managers think. They think that games can be won in certain moments, but Tottenham is not that club. We are not. We like the way the Arsenal are playing right now. Arsenal is a very technical team right now. they took 6 7 years to build that base to be the club that they are today. But in that duration, they spent their money. They wasted a lot of money. Like, they bought, who was that player? Nicolas Pepe,
Pepe.
I think. Yeah, they spent shitload of money on him, but they didn't end up producing. And that is what I'm saying. Tottenham is not the kind of club that will burn that kind of money.
I think Nicolas Pepe was Vinay's doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he is currently sitting at our board.
Yeah.
He's running the club.
Yeah. And that's a big problem that we've got. Is just like, and I don't know if you saw the report from Matt Law a couple of days ago when they were talking about who's going to be making the decision on our next manager. They said Johan Lang's opinion will only be considered, but the end call will be with the Lewis family, Vinay, and other members of the board who have no clue about football. This is the problem that we're in.
Having a technical director of football?
Exactly. That's where I sit. It's like, can we even move forward with this board?
Paratici left because of that, because he didn't believe in this guy.
Correct.
He didn't believe in this guy from day one.
Yeah.
He was behind De Zerbi, I think, who is also a fantastic manager, really attacking. But again, he is similar to to Ange's profile. That's why I'm saying we need a sort of manager that is sort of hybrid between the two, that gives the players their freedom. Today we saw the players had all the freedom in the world.
Would you consider like an Italiano or a Sebastian Hoeneß at Stuttgart, or any of these kind of managers, Farioli at Porto?
The problem with these kind of managers, they are just a punt.
Yeah.
They are a shot in the dark. Like Pochettino was, with all due fairness. But again, we have reached, this is the problem with Tottenham. We have shot ourselves in the back by reaching the level that we have reached.
Expectations. We're dying on our expectations.
We have set certain expectations ourselves that we are not able to match.
Yeah.
If we were the old Tottenham playing at the White Hart Lane, no one could give a fuck.
Yeah.
Bringing whoever.
But you walk into that stadium and it gives you a full sense of security of how big or how good the club actually is. That's the reality.
That's what I'm saying, because I saw the old stadium really long back when I must be like, I think 9 or 10 years old. And then when I saw the new stadium, I was like 25 years old. So that gives you a perspective of how the club has grown. But the sad part is we haven't grown on the field.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We haven't grown, we've regressed. We've regressed year by year. That's the problem.
Aston Villa is in top 3 right now.
Yeah.
Who the fuck were Aston Villa 3 years ago?
Well, I'll tell you who they were 3 years ago. They were a club that were being run by Johan Lang.
The good old Vinay connection and now the Lang connection in this call.
And the guy that was running that club, that bought them where they are, who hired the right guy, you are just going to consider his opinion. But the final call is with the guy that ran your enemy club and the owners that don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, exactly.
The world of Tottenham Hotspur.
So wait to make me feel depressed after such a great win. Thanks, Abhishek.
Yeah. I see you guys after 5 years probably.
A bit of realism back on the fan show.
No, but that is the problem, you know.
No, but I agree with you wholeheartedly.
The problem with Tottenham fans is we ourselves aren't consistent. We set certain expectations and then we don't follow through on those. If people that were Ange out last season, why are they not Ange out this season with Frank?
Yeah.
It's completely opposite. People that were Ange in are Ange out, like are Frank out right now, and people that were Ange out are Frank in right now. There's a whole sort of dilemma.
To be honest, Abhishek,
club.
I don't think you find too many Frank in people anymore. I really don't.
No, not right now. But I'm saying, just take back 2-3 months ago. We were in the similar sort of position that we were with Ange.
Yeah.
And if I have boarded a flight, I know this flight goes to the UK. I know this flight will go to the UK. There, I don't have to think, oh, this might land in Australia.
Yeah.
It's that simple. We are headed down the same fucking road, but we are thinking, no, something might. And, like, Frank is not going to win the UCL.
Yeah. Very true. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
So how do we maneuver this rest of the season? We know that we're probably going to have to look for a manager in the
best
summer.
way out of this, and I know you guys won't like it, the best way out of this is fire Frank right now. Back of a win. That will show a strong board. All the other people that have tuned in have said that it won't look good like after a win. But that is what big clubs do. They set standards.
But
This
the
is not
sacking
a-
should have come after West Ham. That's when it should have come.
Yeah, I am
Even after
100% with you.
Yeah.
But the more you delay it, the more weak we look as a club.
Yeah, but I get that. But what is the alternative right here, right now? Because you're not getting Julian Nagelsmann in just before a World Cup.
No, we right now our best alternative, and like I said, I give you a disclaimer, you won't like it, but is to bring Ryan Mason back.
Ryan Mason. He just got sacked
I
from
know.
West Brom.
Yeah, he just got sacked. That's why I'm saying he's right there. He's there for the picking. And why I say Ryan Mason is knows the history of the club, will do everything in our best interest. He was also connected with the youth team, so he knows a lot of young players. He knows their profile. He can use them well, especially where we are right now. We are hit with injury crisis again. I don't know what the fuck our medical team is doing for the past 3-4 years, because this is a problem every fucking season.
Yeah. It's just getting worse and worse every year.
We can't seem to keep our players fit. What are we paying them for? It's like
But
Tottenham has become like
there is Jurgen Klinsmann who knows the club as well.
Yeah. Too old, mate.
You probably still start up front for us. Send Wiley back and let's just play Klinsmann.
Back in the 90s, he came in as a player, saved us from relegation. Mate, can he do it again?
I mean, we are not going to get relegated for sure. I mean, that would be. That is out of the question. It's not about relegation. It's about bringing the feel-good factor back to the club.
And Ryan Mason brings that.
I think to an extent he would, because he would at least give us an entertaining game. He would let the players just flow. As players, because I said I have played football, and the kind of players that we have at Tottenham right now, we call them flow players. Players that go off of the vibes of the game. Xavi Simons he's technically gifted, but he's a really moody player. If he's in his mood, then only he'll play. Otherwise, you won't see him touch the ball, or he'll be losing the ball all the time. So these players need the kind of manager that will be like, okay, this is like, there needs to be basic structure to the game, but every pass can't be structured. Like today, the game is structured to an extent wherein, okay, this pass, then this pass, then goal. That is how they play on the field. That is how they train. That is not how football used to be.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument that, okay, the game has changed and whatever. But we still see that free-flowing football in many teams. And many successful teams at that.
I'd say
It's
maybe
not
not in
like
the Premier League, though. Like, the Premier League seems a bit different this year.
Very.
Yeah, because teams have sort of recognized that why are we focusing on scoring goals so much? We just need like I said, the Frank mentality. We just need 2 or 3 good moments to score 1 goal and then shut the shop up. That is what Arsenal has been doing all fucking season.
Yeah.
They have the quality throughout to do it, though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They have been putting all their effort to do that, but we don't have the kind of players to do that at Tottenham. We don't have that quality of players to do that. That will, when they get 1 chance, they'll score. We don't have those players. We need at least 10 chances to score 2 goals. That is the kind of club that we are.
Yeah.
And there's
I mean,
nothing wrong
we
with
barely
that.
get 5 chances or 2 chances in a game, never mind 10.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that is the kind of team that we are right now. We don't have a hurricane up front
No.
that will make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
We don't have that killer striker. We don't have that Son Heung-min. We don't have that Eriksen that will pick a pass from 30, 40 yards out. We don't
Yeah.
have those players anymore. And even when we did have those players, we still fell short.
Yeah.
So what makes you believe that with these sort of players, we're going to get anywhere near top four?
Well, what I would say is that when we had AVB and we sacked him mid-season, we brought in Sherwood. Yes, I know we finished 6th at the end that season, but the sentiment around the fan base at that point was like, this squad is absolute crap. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Very similar to what we're hearing now about the squad that we have now. So, look, we need a lot more players. We need a lot more upgrading in a lot of positions right now. That's for certain. Yeah. But what I can say is that I think that we've got a nucleus of a team. Like you mentioned before, we've got young players up and coming that can be flourished and nourished into very good players. So, I think you mentioned it before. You know, we're in a very similar position as we were 10 years ago, and it just takes for the right manager to come in, bring in the right signings, and then we could be back on the right path.
I have held this belief since Frank signed that we aren't 4-5 signings away from being the team we used to be, but just two top quality signings. I think we to get the bandwagon back, we just need a Kane replacement. That I think Kane is going to replace himself. Is what is going to happen.
If only.
And we need a Son replacement. When we go out for a Son replacement, even if we are able to put up that money, that quality of player is never coming to Tottenham. We as fans need to recognize that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if we offer 300 million to Mbappe, he's not coming to Tottenham.
If Spurs ever offer 300 million for people, I think I have a heart attack.
What are you talking about? We got Randall Kolo Muani.
Oh yeah, definitely. There you go.
I mean, he was the replacement signing for Mbappe, so that should have worked out. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. We as fans need to sort of recalibrate our expectations from the club, because we have massively overachieved in the past few years. We need to go back to the basics.
Well, the saying of the football club is aim so high that even failure echoes glory. So that's the club motto. Maybe maybe that's what we're doing, but we're failing too hard that it doesn't even echo any glory.
Yeah, there's no echo left. There's no life left at the club. All the players, I mean, I do see moments wherein they're really happy. I mean, they're a happy bunch. I don't feel like they don't enjoy the football that I'm playing, but it's just the system that is breaking them, I feel.
Yeah.
Because when, like Udogie, when he took on his man and, he went in for the pass, he should do that every game, but he has that talent. We have seen that. But in a Premier League game, when they're playing according to their structure or whatever bullshit, I think he's instructed to cut back and give it back to Poro so he can cross it in. This is what I'm telling you. These are the sort of patterns in which players are being trained at the pitch. And if you don't do that, you get fucked off the team. That is what I think is happening with Tell. Because Tell is the kind of player that won't listen. He's a young, warm-blooded player that won't listen to the manager. If the manager is saying, okay, stop, cut back, so Spence can cross the ball in, he'll be like, no, I'll just go and shoot. I'll make something happen. I'll run at my man. And that is why I think Frank doesn't really rate Tell, because he doesn't listen to him. That is what I think it is. He's being the angry father and keeping him out of the team. Because in no sense does Muani get into the team before Tell. I mean, from what we have seen till now, there's no justification for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Abhishek, I would love to speak to you all night because it's a very good call and I'm really enjoying this conversation. But we got a lot of people we still need to get through. But thank you so much for calling in. Please do call in again. Don't let it happen 5.5 years. Don't call again in 5.5 years. Please call again soon.
We never know. We might win the Premier League, and I might join you guys in the victory parade.
Yeah, please do, my friend.
Good night, Abhishek.
Good night, my
Good
friend.
night. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Oh, that was a great call. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that one. Let's go on to Josh Watson.
Oh, big up, Josh.
Yes, Josh. How you doing, my friend?
Good, gents. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. I saw when we signed Rafi Mawson, they were speaking about high performance, building a high performance team around Tottenham to click us into gear, and you were the first person I thought of.
Yeah, well, I read the quote and I was delighted to read it. To be honest, just the language that was coming through the club is just different. I always try and look for things that are not the norm for change. And so, yeah, I'm still positive. I know, well, I thought it was strange that Lange made the announcement. I just thought that was a little bit weird because I would have thought that Director of Football Operations would sit above, Paratici's obviously leaving. But so we'll see how it sort of plays out. But, I got more hope out of that sort of action than anything in a long time. So let's hope that something comes from it.
But then, did you read Matt Law's article a few days ago?
I haven't read all of it.
But you saw the point in the article that said who the decision makers are of choosing the next manager. That couldn't have filled you with much hope.
Well, it doesn't. And I made mention the other day just about the board being such a small group of people. And then when you've got that hierarchy of, clearly, not incompetence. I won't go so far as to say that, but there's issues there at a decision-making level from recruitment. And that's been, before Lang was with us, to be honest, when I look at, how you should select a player, and again, just, full disclosure, I don't have anywhere near the football background that you guys and many people on the chat have, but I look at the character of the person. Yes, skills is obviously very, very important, but you don't even get to see those skills unless there are things underneath that as a human being in how they apply themselves, how they hold themselves, how do they respond when times get tough. Even when you look at all the injuries we've had, what I actually think, we know Ange, felt the brunt of that, and he's got a history of the way he plays being very demanding on the body. I actually think it's less about Ange, it's less about Frank, it's probably even less about our medical team. I think it is actually our recruitment. I think we are purchasing fragile players. We're purchasing players that aren't robust enough for what is required at the Premier League level. That's when I think about all the different reasons as to why we find ourselves in that sort of situation. The only thing that survives any test is that our recruitment is just not up to scratch. So I think physically, certainly psychologically, character-wise, as far as how do you start a match, how do you respond when the other team is pressing through possession or getting on top of you, that sort of stuff. I think I honestly don't think we've got any clue in how to identify those players because we've got so few of them.
Yeah, look, you say that, and
one.
Say again?
Conor Gallagher's one.
Yeah, you say that, but then one example is like Dominic Solanke, where he's been playing Premier League football or, in England his whole life, and he hadn't had a major injury before coming to Spurs, and suddenly comes to Spurs, and he's non-stop riddled with injuries, and the first time we've seen him this season is this week.
He's had injuries. I don't know if they've been so extensive.
No, but he hasn't never missed a significant part of the...
Yeah, I'm not saying that we don't have any of those players. Like, certainly, with the workload that, Porro, the guy's just a machine. He doesn't stop. Even Van der Ven had his issues last year. Look, yeah. I think if you were to put a hierarchy of reasons as to, the injury, I think it is recruitment, then probably medical, or on the second line is medical. Certainly with Ange, as far as his aggressive pressing and what people were required to do to get back into a defensive position. I think there's certainly merit to that. But I think if you look at look who intimidates anyone physically on our team.
Not many.
Udogie. Udogie's a beast. Van der Ven's a beast.
Did you say?
Who?
Paulinho?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I saw something the other day where someone made a comment and it was in reference to, that's when it was. It was when Rodgers, sort of got in his face. You can see his eyes, like, he's someone you don't want to be in.
Yeah, 100%.
You do not want to be in a dark alley with Paulinho. He will absolutely destroy you. And that's good. We need that. We need that mongrel. And that's the other thing. Like, if Cootie could just, he's got, in Australia, without saying the actual word, a see you next Tuesday. He's got that in him. But if he could inject that into the rest of the team, he needs to quell it when he needs to quell it. But he also, he's got that mongrel. We need more mongrels. No one's intimidated by our team, like whether it's Xavi, whether it's, I would say Kudus. Kudus has got that element to him. Like when they come into when they're challenged, when they're on the ball, do they physically feel as though they're the dominant party in that challenge? We don't have enough of those people, right? And they actually play that way. They don't, they shy away from a one-on-one challenge because they know that physically they're either going to get stripped for the ball or they're just going to get shoved straight off it.
Yeah.
So, but actually, I'm glad Alex came on because I didn't want to be the sort of Debbie Downer at being the last person. So, but yeah, I mean, good win today. It's great to have a win. Hey, it just lifts your spirits.
Yeah. I mean, how does that even happen? How do you go from Aston Villa to West Ham to this game tonight? And this game tonight looked like, obviously, an impossible task with the injuries, with the ineligible players, with the amount of fit players that we had available to us. How does that even happen?
Let's just hope, just realise as well that it's not a hat-trick of claret and blue. Claret and blue, play the yellow, then claret and blue, oh shit.
Well, I think, when I watched the match, like it was the perfect scenario for Spurs as far as how the match played out, right? Like Dortmund have not been in good form for a while. So I guess from a psychological standpoint, I think Spurs would probably see themselves as an opportunity to win the game. And then when Dortmund started so passively, then Spurs gets on top. That's where they love to be. That's where they play their best football and they really dominate. And a side like Dortmund, this is pre-red card, of course. That's a long enough window of time to dominate a game. But again, going back to what I said before about what I'm looking for change. What's different? Okay, first goal still came from a set piece corner, still scored by a defender.
Yeah,
there's nothing that's changed there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the red card, which I think when you look at the act, I think it's certainly red card. I think he was unlucky because I don't think he was trying to. I think the angles that I can't remember who the Spurs player was that was a part of that, but I think he was unlucky. But I think he still got to go, which is fine.
When Xavi's getting sent off for what he did against Liverpool, then he has to most definitely.
For sure. That studs up stuff. I've got no flexibility for that. Like I just think that's just there's no part of it in the game. Yeah. So I completely understand it. And then I mean a really good first half, but again the nature of the game, the opposition, how we got on top early, and I mean Dortmund. I don't even know. Did they have a shot on goal in the first half? I mean they were
They had one
passive.
Shot on target the whole game.
Right. So that's a perfect scenario for Spurs to play good football. But again, the thing that really annoyed me is that we didn't put our foot on their throat in the second half. If we had to come away 4-0, 5-0, I'd be going, that's interesting. That's something different. But we didn't, and we just sat off them. And again, that comes back to character. It comes back to when I jump on the pitch and I'm 2-0 down, 2-0 up at halftime, am I trying to win this match, or am I trying to instill fear into future opponents? We don't have that. Do you know what I mean? Now, we've got people that have that in them, like Cootie, and I think, Kudus, Van der Ven, but they just don't show it. They don't take that next step to go, we're going to stamp ourselves, not just in this match, but in this competition. We're going to make Burnley shit their pants with what we're about to do in the next half. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for, and that's why I come away from this game frustrated and annoyed that they didn't take an opportunity to look into the future and be more intimidatory.
Do you think, Josh, that there might be an element with the state of the squad, with the amount of injuries that we have, and we need to use everyone at our disposal, and we've got a game coming up in just a couple of days' time, that maybe it's not the smartest thing to go full throttle in the second half and do what you can to win the game?
Yeah, look, I think that's a very valid point, Ben. But I think also that you don't have to go full throttle for 45 minutes to score at least a goal or another goal.
We did have opportunities. We had opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, look, I mean, and again, this is my, I guess, a lapse in my, football knowledge. And I see a very sort of tunnel vision, performance-based thing, and I don't see necessarily all the subtleties or certainly are buried in the club like you guys are. But again, I just I would just like to see that ruthlessness, at least in the players that have that in them.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the manager, I don't know what your opinion was at the end of the West Ham game, but I certainly was adamant that Frank had to go. What was your opinion after the West Ham game, and has that changed at all on the basis of this game?
Yeah, look, I've been trending Frank to be moved on for a little while now. Again, less so for the performances, but more what sort of he's saying and how his perspective on certain things. Like I remember just in the last couple of days, something about the last 7 games. Yeah, we're trending along the right path. I mean, that person just does not. I don't know what he sees, but he doesn't see what he needs to see for Spurs to be winners.
Yeah.
And I think at his age and his level of experience, I just can't see what scenario he would find himself in where that's going to change to the degree that it needs. Spurs is probably the hardest club. I mean, obviously in the States. So you talk about Chicago Bears, you talk about Carolina Panthers, some of these, horrible NBA clubs that are literally just a participation trophy. Spurs is the hardest, probably one of the hardest organizations to do what we're trying to do. Right. So, I'm not saying that you need to give latitude, but it's the toughest gig there is to try and turn this club around into something that is a perpetual winner. So, I mean, look, tonight changes nothing. And again, if he had have scored another 2 or 3 goals in the second half, if we had have, then I would have maybe, because I'll give one of the things when you're trying to do what we're trying to do is you got to be ruthless, but you got to be patient.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're two opposing sort of forces.
Yeah.
If you're seeing enough of the right things, then you can be patient. And the outcome, the result is always the thing that you see last, right? That's the most challenging thing. If you see good recruitment, if you see, some of our youth players, getting some time, that's what I don't understand. I mean, we've really got nothing to lose. Like we should be giving these younger players some time.
You say tonight changes nothing. I mean, it does a little bit, because it looked as though for all to see that after the West Ham game, he was a dead man walking, and it looked like, we were potentially looking to make a change even before the Dortmund game. Obviously, we didn't. And if we would have lost tonight, he probably would have got sacked after this game. he hasn't. He's won the game, and he's won the game quite comfortably. So I guess it does change something in a sense that he's bought himself at least a little bit more time.
Oh, look, I mean, in the reality of the situation, I think it when I say it hasn't changed anything, it hasn't changed anything in my take on what should happen. I think after a win, and the gentleman that spoke before, I thought he was excellent, as did most of the people that jump on and have a chat. When he said that the best thing that Spurs could do would be to sack Frank tonight, that would be different, right? That would be a change. That would be, that's decisive. I didn't see that coming. That's why I always so annoyed. Like, the later they left it to sack Ange, I started thinking maybe they're going to keep him, which I thought was the right thing. But then when they sacked him, I was even more annoyed. I'm like, hang on a minute. Like, do the parade, sack him at the end of the week. Like, again, show some balls and make a decisive decision. I think, because we're away this week to Burnley, is that right? Yeah. Look, again, I think about what they should do and what they will do, and I have no idea. But if we draw against Burnley, I mean, what points are we going to get out? We've got some really tough fixtures coming up. So, yeah, I honestly, I just take 24 hours at a time.
The thing is, right, if we do sack him mid-season, you're basically going to be relying on an interim to take the role for the rest of the season. And what value is that going to have for us?
Add to that as well, though, if you are going to do an interim, surely you want to do it during the window when at least they can try and do something. If they go for a couple of games in February, then they pull the plug. This manager that comes in has got to do with what he's got.
Yeah, look, I said this on Stell's channel a couple of weeks ago that, and maybe I asked it to you guys, because I think we are so far gone as a destination for the manager that we really need and the players that we really need, that is there a type of manager that, okay, let's just call it an interim manager, but not a typical interim manager. Is there a manager that we can bring in that can at least settle what's going on, that the club can give some time and maybe eke our way up to 11th, 12th, like around that top 10, so that the brand, how the people that we want to attract view us as a club, as a potential for them to see success or to at least further their career. Is there this in-between manager where, they're not the actual pinnacle, that can get us to a point where, okay, there's a proper project underway here, and okay, I like what they're doing, and this guy clearly is not the guy to get them to the pinnacle of winning the league, but at least there is because I just don't think you're going to attract, if you accept that you're not going to attract the manager, that high profile manager, because again, it's such a basket case. It's not here's a squad and we're going to perform. There's so much internal turbulence and barriers and friction and all of that sort of stuff that I just don't know whether one human being, one manager can do that in its entirety and expect to be around long enough to iron out all the kinks that we have to actually find success. I don't know whether that's even available. I don't know. Is there?
That's the problem I have with it. If you've got the people choosing the manager next that don't really know too much about football, and they're only going to consider the opinion of the guy that they've employed to make these kind of decisions, it just makes the whole thing absolutely pointless and void. And I think the only... I personally feel like the only way this is going is that Spurs are going to get Pochettino after the World Cup, because I think what ENIC did when they first came into the club, they sacked George Graham, who's an Arsenal legend that won Spurs a trophy, and they brought in Glenn Hoddle, who's a Tottenham legend, to get the fans on side. And I feel like that is the direction of travel now, because I think they have no other thought process but to try and get fans on side. And I think Pochettino is just low-hanging fruit and an easy option to go for.
Yeah, look, it makes so much sense what you say, Ben. And honestly, that makes me sicker in my stomach than losing to West Ham on the weekend, because again, high performance people don't go back. They don't look backwards. They're always looking forwards. And it would be proper Spurs to do something like that. And I think that would be a dreadful decision, because the other thing we've got to remember too is that Poch had Brian Kane. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he had, and something exactly, like he had a pretty certainly a team that was well structured from goals, creating goals and creating opportunities, and reasonably balanced across the park, the rest of the park. So that would really disappoint me if they headed down that path from a future performance perspective, for sure. And again, it's an emotional decision. That's what it is. It's an emotional decision, which is a poor decision.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't have any inside information on that. That's just what I think is going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see.
Playbook.
Yeah, straight out the ENIC playbook. But look, Josh, thank you so much for coming on once again
awesome,
today,
guys.
my friend.
Good to see you both.
Josh.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Bye.
Take care.
Cheers, mate. All right, let's keep going. Alexander, let's bring him on.
Here we go. Let's bring on Sweden.
How you doing, bro?
Big up, guys. I'm well. Thank you.
No smiles after that performance?
Yeah. After tonight, my opinion has changed a little. It has.
All right, talk to me. Talk to me.
Before West Ham, I
love a good flip flop.
Yeah. It is flopping, and I'm gonna admit it, because I was willing. I was one of these fans. I've came on to the channel before, and I said I was one of the fans that I wanted to give Frank, a year, and a year despite like excluding total catastrophe, but a mid-season I would be able to give him. But after today, I don't know where to land really, because I know our home form is excellent. Now 23 European home games unbeaten at home. It's an excellent stat, despite it having been in the conference and the Europa, most of it, but also Champions League last season or 4 seasons ago. But after today, I can't really tell you whether it was the players that but I don't really believe in it. That's the thing. I don't believe in the players did their own thing. I don't believe in that. I don't believe like they all collectively went against the manager's tactics and just thought we're gonna do our own thing. I don't believe in that. So I give credit to Frank, full credit to Frank, and I give just as much credit to the players for executing the plan accordingly. And what Dortmund is in a bad team. They've only lost 3 games this season, 2 in the Champions League, 1 in the league. They're not a bad team at all. And 1 shot on target, despite that red card, it's still a great overall display. And at the same time, I agree with Josh with what he said we did park the game in the second bus. We didn't go for the kill. We didn't go for it because it's obvious to see that Frank is desperate right now. His top priority is to get wins. It isn't to, go the flashy way and potentially increase the risk of, a total bottle job. But
yeah, but it's also to keep the players fit. Another player went down injured today was Lucas Bergvall.
Exactly, and I'm fed up with this medical team, honestly. I get Josh's argument with recruitment. We might have to look outside the scope, like do we recruit weaker players as per, but that argument fails when we look at players like Udogie. Not one single career injury before he joined. Dom, the same thing except one, like 3 years before he joined. Then you have Gallagher, no career injury. He's going to get injured before the end of the season. You just know
in that West Ham game, Alexander, he goes down after 15 seconds, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go again.
It's crazy. I can mention a few more. I think we've recruited even more of. So that argument doesn't really hold up, but our players in general, they're not good enough as a squad. We can all come to the consensus of that. After today, I'm going to use excess, expressions. I'm going to use his quote for Kolo. I mean, he's a scandal Kolo Punani. Because what the fuck did he do there for that run, that beautiful pass from Xavi? I think it was Xavi.
Yeah.
He doesn't just give up on the ball. He turns his back around and throws his hands down like this. Like, and Spence has to go and get the ball, because it was actually in play. It didn't go out. Is that his Ndombele moment? Is that his Ndombele moment? Because I've said it weeks before. I've said it. He has the talent, but he doesn't get himself up to this top performance level. And there's proof in that. Against PSG, we saw the real. That's the Colomani we want to see. Lethal, two clear-cut opportunities, and he takes them.
Yeah.
Like right away. Where's the motivation there? He's facing his mother club. It is a little bit of this Ndombele syndrome. I just think he's a striker. He's not a midfielder. He's a striker, and he has that in him. That lackluster sort of. He can't motivate himself enough to be at top levels at all times. And after today, I don't want to see him get a single minute more ahead of Scarlett. Like, we know we're not buying him. 50 million, forget it. We're not buying
Just send
that.
him back. Just send him
A
back.
bit with him. What I don't get with him, Alex, I don't get with him is he's another one like Gallagher. He's come in with the incentive to force himself into the French national team for the World Cup. So we saw him against Copenhagen, where he did that Dimitar Berbatov-esque bringing the ball down. I think he set up Udogie. He should have scored a couple of chances there. Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain, but they have been like his two best performances, haven't they? In the league, he's had a couple of good games on the wing, but I thought he would come fully pumped, fully motivated to force himself into that World Cup.
I think it's clear he doesn't want to be here. Yeah. I think that's the reality.
Guys, I don't even think you mentioned a great point there, Brian. Like the World Cup, of course. Like, how can't you not want to do your best to become a part of that? I just think with some players, it's not intentional. It's in their psychological nature. They just can't get themselves to be 100% every day. They don't have. They have the talent. They have the talent, the raw talent. They got it. But when it comes to actually getting up to that top performance level, they can't do it. The same also with Ndombele. I don't think if you ask him, like, is this how your career? Is this how you wanted your career to turn out? He wouldn't say yes. He just doesn't have it in the psychological ability. He doesn't have it. And more after that, the sport has to decide what they want to do. I think a lot of us fans, especially now with Frank, we want good football, but success doesn't have to come the good football way. It doesn't have to. It is the Spurs way. It is a Tottenham way. But it can come other ways too. If they choose to go down the Frank Conte direction for success, then do it. Decide for that. Decide. I don't think they have decided. I can guarantee you they haven't decided that. If they want to go down the Ange Poch direction, then do it. But they haven't decided, and this is simultaneously why I don't trust this board to sack Frank mid-season and bring in adequate replacement that raises the performance levels. I don't trust them to do that. So that's why I'm still 50-50 on what the right decision is to do. Now, we got Burnley on the weekend. And anything other than a win there, and he's gonna be back. It's gonna be back to square one, and then I think it'll be untenable. Because as much as this board, wants to back him, it's their sort of guy. It's their first manager of this new ENIC era. They don't have it in them. They don't have it in them. They don't have it in them to take difficult decisions, I think, and I don't think Frank has it either. One of these difficult decisions I want to see him make is don't after what Colo did today, it's unacceptable. Don't play anymore. Give those minutes to Scarlett. Do it.
Tell.
Scarlett isn't a bad egg. He's in a bad egg. When have we ever heard of that? He's a hardworking guy that comes into training, gives us all every day, like Austin. Doesn't play, but he just comes. Give him Colo's minutes. We know we're not going to buy him. Just don't, in my opinion. So,
and those hard decisions, the exact hard decisions that we've seen in the past that have nourished Spurs' successful teams like Pochettino, giving Bentaleb his chance, Mason his chance, Harry Kane for the star that was in the team at the time, Emmanuel Adebayor. If the players if the players aren't holding their weight, let the young kids come in and prove their worth.
And as a manager too, I don't think Frank doesn't have that real authority from the respect. I think he would have gotten it a little bit more if he just went Colo. After what he did today, he has to seriously work his way into the team. If he made a real ballsy decision like that, then I think it also gains him respect, not only from the fans but from the seeing something like demand authority. Do that. And finally, I just want to go into something that a lot of us fans overlook because we're not data analysts. We love football. We burn for our football club. All we want is success. But if you look at this current football structure, of which kind of people we have employed, Levy he's hired three frauds that were primarily responsible for Villa's relegation form 2020 to 2023.
Yeah.
Those people, that our chief scout, Alex Fraser, our chief scout, got employed simultaneously with Lange and McKenzie, who also came from Villa. All of them three, Lange, McKenzie, and Fraser, all of them came from Villa. During that period, we remember when they were in relegation battles, shitting it with Gerrard. We've recruited these people directly responsible for our scouting and our sporting our recruitment department. They're at the head of it. We see players like Gallagher, etc., come in, but they're sort of the way they carry out themselves with our recruitment. It has failed us during the last 3 years, and we see the consequences of it now. We see they haven't replaced Son adequately. They've done nothing. So I don't think our expectations, they can't be as high as they are without taking things like this into account. Three of these people were the guys that ran the business at Villa when they were in that shitty 17th relegation form.
Yeah.
We're the same. And where are we now? We're kind of around the same area, but except with same players. So that pushes up to 14 with an average manager that needs time. He needs time. He's not a performer like Conte was. Nowhere near it. Mm-hmm. So despite of how tragic some of the records we've broken this season with West Ham winless, Wolves, they go and lose the next 9 games or whatever it was after drawing to us, and all of these stats that you brought up on your stream yesterday, they're unacceptable. They're totally unacceptable. But where we are positionally in the league, it shouldn't be a surprise, judging by who the people are in charge of the club, the football recruitment of the club. And the squad that just, I don't know what it is, guys. Are we heading for another 17th Champions League season? Because this direction, I mean, the hell are we, what are we doing? We're beating Dortmund, one of the best informed teams in the world on paper, despite being in the Bundesliga, and we're losses, etc. I don't know. Now, my initial point was, or my initial, where I put Frank to was, if I want to be fair, ultimately fair as a fan, then I'm going to be as, like Ange was. With Ange last season, we said, as long as he's in the Europa, you keep him in the job. You keep him in the job because you never know. You never know. Despite many fans doubting, you said you never know. You give him that privilege. It's another dimension in the Champions League, but give him the same, as long as he's in the Champions League, keep him in the job. Keep him in the job. We might go and reach a semi-final. I mean, imagine. And fans say Frank lacks credit in the bank. Him reaching a semi-final in the Champions League, that would be credit in the back for me. That would be credit in the back for me. And I just think I just don't trust the sport to replace him adequately. So I would keep him until now. But if he loses to Burnley, then my opinion is going to change again. I'm going to flip-flop, as you said, Ben. I'm going to flip-flop again. But if he loses to Burnley, then that's going to change. But if he wins, let it be doggy and ugly. If he wins against Burnley, then who knows? I just don't think our expectations can be that high. Our ambition should be high always. It should never drop our ambition. But our expectation, our realistic expectation, judging by who are in charge of our football club currently and the players, I just think we have to ride the season out. And it's not that this game changes everything, but just I don't know. I just think we have to take this season on the chin. That's it, guys.
Feels like what we do every season.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, last season, absolutely my greatest moment ever as a Spurs fan, and there's not a single fan. It's not a single fan that had 17th in their head when we saw Sonny lifting that Europa. None.
Yeah, absolutely.
That made up for it, but yeah, I just think we have to calm it a little. And Frank, he might change. he might change, and if he does, then great. But replace in the summer, in case, as we said, a lot of us said, replace in the summer, and I don't know, miracle scenario.
Alexander, if we win the Champions League and finish 17th, is he going to get sacked?
I mean, that would be 10 times a miracle than Leicester's Premier League. I'm just laughing thinking about it. Guys. I mean, a semi-final would, to be concrete, it would be credit in the bank for me, as he has lacked this season.
Yeah.
He hasn't put credit in the bank, but if he reaches a semi, which I think we should give him, because he has been, despite the performances and the football not being great in Champions League too, he's been great. We're fourth in the table, and
still managed to think fourth.
Oh, no.
give him the Champions League, and that's it, guys. And
so if we get to the semi-final and have a shocker of a Premier League season like last year, is that enough credit in the bank to keep him? Because that means no European football next season.
Of course, he's not going to get the privilege to bin the season off. Not bin the season off, but Ange prioritized the Europa. He's not going to get that privilege, but I just think if we get Kulu back, if he sort of makes a miraculous comeback and actually comes in, if our squad depth become like, if our squad without Matters is fully fit this season and he starts performing better football and actually there's the press like we did today, because our press was immense, then that's credit in the back for me. Right now he doesn't have it. I'm fair, but I'm willing to give him this season because we have to change eventually, and if it's gonna be with sticking with a manager who's arguably one of the worst we've had in the last decade, then so be it. But just do it and show change, because giving the exception of Ange, none of our managers in the last decade, except Poch, have been able to change the club culture. They haven't been able to change anything. They've left a trophyless mark after them. Like, if you want to analyze it objectively, they haven't left something in the history books for us. So let this pan out, and if required, and replace in the summer. That's it, guys. I mean, honestly.
Well, Alexander, let's hope the opinion is still given till the end of the season after the Burnley game, because that would have mean we would have won.
Yep.
But thank you for coming on, my friend.
Yeah, guys. Big up. Okay, take care.
See you later, Alex.
Cheers, mate. Oh boy. Oh boy. Toby Alderweireld. Where did he sign from? Where did he sign from?
Why?
Bring him on. Bring him on. KPV. Why are you swearing?
I don't like talking about this Toby Alderweireld thing again. It's pissing me off. Like, you're going to bring this up every time I come on. Like, enough.
You've got the theme.
Done. That's enough. Seriously, like, I've been at basketball. Okay, I was playing with some friends and we won. So I had Ed and my mate Chris Thornton on. So
how many points did you score?
Loads, mate. I got 11 assists. So
would you like Steph Curry on the free throw line?
I've done good practice and they're proud of me. Chris Thornton and Ed Godfrey are proud, and yeah, so they're happy I've done well, and on to next Tuesday. So I'm going back again because.
So did you not watch the game tonight? Then you were at basketball.
No, I came back to watch the game. Damn it! And let me tell you this, yeah. I said to my mate Ed and my Karagamu, Tottenham better be 1-0 up before I get back into my flat, and I got that right.
Well done.
So you missed the first goal?
Yeah, because I came back a bit late from basketball. So, and when I went past the pub, the dog said Arsenal scored. Jesus. So, Inter lost, and because, let me tell you this, yeah, my mate Chris Thornton supports Arsenal and Inter. Like, and his mum ain't happy about it. Like, who you cheering on, Chris? Inter Arsenal. Like, you're both. Like, and who you cheering on, mate? Arsenal, Inter. And he supports both of them. Like, what the hell? You're half Italian and full English. Like, he goes to Italy every summer for a holiday with his mum. And lucky sod, mate. And I don't know why he's into an Arsenal. Like, you can only pick one, mate, because you only support Inter because they're Italian and we lost to Italy in the final. So he's only doing that, mate. And I still stand by it. Brian Degger looks like Bonucci, and Brian scored in the final. So, yeah, Brian was man of the match.
Okay, fair play. Fair play. Talking
Yeah,
about
you
the
look
match,
like
what did you
Bonucci.
think of Xavi?
Brilliant, mate. And yeah, great. Like, and Ben needs to stop lying because we never lose to Dortmund. I said that to Sim, and we never lose, Ben. So
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, we
get
lost in
that
we
right.
lost in the Europa League, mate.
Yeah, Ben.
I don't give a damn about that, mate, because that was on the Poch, and we had Jan and Toby, and we don't lose, mate. So
But
since
you
then,
just said we lost under Poch.
yeah, well, that was in Europa League, and we were clearly robbed in both those games because they had Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan. Hey, here, you want to come over here? That was Mkhitaryan, mate, because they had voice, and we beat them. I believe we beat them at White Hart Lane, yeah, under Poch in that Europa League. They beat us in Germany, and we got knocked out. But if we didn't won that Europa League, that would have got us Champions League football. But Poch got us it, and let's be honest, we played our home games at Wembley and we lost. We couldn't win a single game, and we lost at Wembley because we couldn't play our home games at White Hart Lane, and not good. But we beat Dortmund.
Wrong again.
We
They beat us at White Hart Lane.
Nah, they had
Yeah.
They have a poor record, mate. They had a
They
poor
beat
record.
us
there.
2-1 in the Europa League at White Hart Lane. Aubameyang scoring 2 goals.
Yeah, well, he's a flop. He ain't won nothing. He couldn't win. That's when he played under Klopp, I think, for a bit, and then he went to Liverpool, and look at what he did.
No, he went to Arsenal.
Won.
No, I think he's talking about
No, I'm on
Oh,
about
Klopp.
Klopp, damn it. Klopp.
Damn it.
He played
I
under
can't believe
Klopp,
this whole
and
conversation starts with me saying, what did you think of Xavi?
Xavi was brilliant, don't get me wrong. And Xavi was brilliant. And someone said in the chat, it's now Gareth Spence. Big up Jed Spence. It's now Gareth Spence. And big up to Natalie Powell saying Jed Spence is now a left wing. Like, put him there and we can win, man. Like, we lost at home to those scumbags who we can't stand because I hate West Ham. And Callum Wilson's clearly offside position, and clearly West Ham player got hold of Vicario's arm. Like,
He wasn't
clearly,
offside, and he listen. That was
It was, Brian.
no, he
I've seen
wasn't.
it.
No, he
He
wasn't.
was, Brian.
Listen,
Watch the
KPV, the West Ham winner, we were bullied and soft.
We should have had a penalty, though.
We should have had a penalty. But
And we were robbed. I don't like the Hammers, mate, because Callum Wilson, yeah, look at what he did for Newcastle when they beat us. When Bruno Guimaraes just had a baby then. That was under Eddie Howe. 22-23. We lose 2-1. And as you can see, that goal I watched, Newcastle beat us 2-1 at home. And Callum Wilson, Lloris was fouled. And I watched it. So clearly, Callum Wilson always seems to score. He's now Antonio 2.0. But good thing is Antonio don't play anymore. So I don't like you,
Frank in
Antonio.
or Frank out, KPV?
I said it to my mate Jack earlier on the messenger. I'm Frank out because I didn't care if we were 2-0 up. He still has to go. Like he said it. Like the players know he's gone after this. And
What
like,
if we
there's only
what
one
if we
place-
go and beat Burnley 3-0?
Well, away, like, don't you remember Harry Kane scored a hat-trick back-to-back games? Burnley, Southampton.
If
you were
we
there
beat
for those
Burnley
games.
3-0, are you still Frank out?
Of course, mate. Like, even
What
if we win, I'm
after
still
we
Frank
beat
out.
what about we beat Burnley 3-0, then we beat Frankfurt 3-0?
Like, Frankfurt in Germany after that game, like, we are actually still unbeaten against Frankfurt because I went to our home
Yeah, but
game
would you
against
still be Frank
Frankfurt.
out?
Well, you know what I said ages ago. If we beat Arsenal, I'm Frank in, but looks like he's not going to be there for the derby.
So what, if he
I'm
wins,
Frank out.
if he wins
every game in
on
February.
Friday.
every game, are you still
Every
Frank?
game in
Like-
February. We beat Man U, Man City, Newcastle, and Arsenal.
Arsenal. I call them Varsenal. Varsenal, because VAR. I call them Varsenal. And
I couldn't work it
I
out.
don't want them winning a title because I said it for the past couple of seasons. If Arsenal win the league, I'm leaving this country. I won't be coming back.
Where will you go?
But I'll go to
Don't you dare.
Ibiza or Barcelona. And I'm
Not
going to
Canada.
Barcelona. I'll go Barcelona because
Yeah,
that's where Ben
Barcelona.
met Al. Ben met Ashley in Barcelona, so I know it.
I met Ashley in Barcelona, so you know it.
Yeah, because I watched the match day vlog, mate, when you and Sim went. And Sim, wake up, it's match day. We drew 1-0. Lucas got us a point to get us through, and Inter drew with PSV in our Champions League campaign. And the players, if you haven't watched Tottenham's Road to Madrid, the players talk about it. Kane, Son, Ali, Poch, and Eriksen talked about it. Like, we played Inter away, and Eriksen scored in both games. Like, we lost at the San Siro, but if you look at what Bale did to Maicon, Bale, we lost 4-3 we only lost by one.
Different season.
Was still, yeah, that was when we had Van der Vaart, Crouch, and that season. But
that season we won in the San Siro.
Yeah, that was AC Milan.
Oh, AC Milan.
AC Milan.
Trick question. Sneaky.
Brian, can I say something?
You can say whatever you want, Mr. KPV.
I've watched the video when I remember Ben was at uni, and the uni were asking where's Ben, and everyone was saying, oh, he's in Milan, and they weren't happy with it. Ben was told off once. Somebody got told off by uni.
Yeah, it's true story. How do you know that story?
Mate,
I watched one of your videos. I watched one of your videos when you and Sim done it during lockdown. I think it was COVID. When
I swear to God, I came up in the YouTube at a figure 0.01.
And
God knows what he did.
You went to, you were saying to uni, oh, I'm not well, I'm going to go home, man. Ben went to Milan, and Ben didn't take his phone when he pushed that steward when we drew 4 at the Emirates, because he saw the same
How do you know all these
again.
Did you just recently watch a video when I was saying all these stories?
4-4.
I watched that nearly 5 years ago, mate. That was 5 years ago.
How do you remember that?
Because we were supposed to play Arsenal at home at April 2020 when the COVID hit. We were supposed to play Arsenal at the new stadium for the first time, but COVID hit. It had to be in July. And I watched your video, and you saw the same friend for that North London derby, every time. The League Cup, we won 5-1, but 08-09 season, we drew at the Emirates, and you was there for that Bentley goal.
I was there for that Bentley goal. Yeah, you're right.
And I remember you saw my super chat ages ago about Danny Rose against Arsenal. Oh, what a goal! It's Danny Rose on his Premier League debut.
When was that super chat?
That must have been last season or the season before I posted it. And
can you remember?
Yeah, because him and
I remember your super chat that said something, and it's live.
Oh God.
Yeah, because that's Martin Tyler, mate. Because he always said it, and
I used to introduce kickoff every time like that just because of that super chat.
Yep.
And why don't you do the pre-match pump up with yours truly? Because I did it when David Harris was doing it, and now you get Kate and Jimbo, not Dave Harris. Because I did it, and before every Tottenham game in 21-22 season, now you put Kate and Jimbo. Come on, I used to do it before every Tottenham game. Now you put those two on. You're missing just one piece of the puzzle, and I'm that one. I always like to do a preview for a Tottenham game and predict.
You're always playing basketball, mate, before the game.
No, that's only Tuesdays, and
you could. Where were you today, mate? Where were you today? Could have done the pump up today, but where were you?
Pump up, actually. Don't you normally do it on Mondays, and then you do a pump up with the Mondays or whatever, and then I didn't get to come on Saturday because of Sammy. There was 23 people. I'm not happy, Sammy.
Yes,
disappointed,
Sammy.
mate.
Join quicker next time.
I was, mate, and you're still chatting shit. So you couldn't beat carrier bag. Can you carry a carrier bag? You can't beat a carrier bag, mate. So unlucky. So fair luck tomorrow, mate, and good luck because you're gonna need it. So unlucky, fella, but we all know you bought the Premier League. It was bought, and you're still charged.
Look, the question, the answer everyone wants to know, KPB. Have you got rid of Judas from your ultimate team
I
yet?
thought you were going to say he's
We're bringing this bullshit up again. How many times have I got to tell you? I did not have him. Seriously, this is bullshit. Ben, stop. I'm getting sick of it. Every time I come on, you bring that bastard up. Because I asked Brian this question.
For good reason as well, mate.
I asked Brian this question, actually, about... I saw someone on Twitter a couple of years ago putting a vote up. Should he manage Arsenal? Because if he does, they'll get relegated. And I saw a percentage saying he would. Like, they'll get relegated if he was manager. And for Arsenal, because, like, if you haven't watched his, Transfer 360 about his controversial move, and that still pisses every Spurs fan off, and it pisses me off, and Sim spoke to him at the awards, and Sol was not happy about it. Like, Sim, well done, Sim, mate. And
what you didn't see, Sim said, what he didn't say on camera was like, my mate KPV's got you in his ultimate team.
No, he didn't say that. That was 18-19, mate. That was when I didn't play FIFA, because, like...
how do you know it was in 18-19? Did you have him in your team?
No, I didn't play that FIFA then, because I didn't play that game, because I didn't play Ultimate Team back then, because, like, I didn't play much, because I was busy in college, spending time with my friends, and listen to a bit of music back then, and spending time with other people. Like,
what kind of music did you listen to?
Boy bands, mate. I went to the gym in Harlow, Pure Gym. Not sure if you've been there, because my mate Jack Coyster went to the Champions League final in Madrid, and everyone can agree it was never a penalty. Because if you look at the photo, WeAreTottenhamTV always posted up. Someone on Twitter, I don't know what, an account asked, what is the biggest robbery in football? And Ben posted it up when Mane was kicking the ball. It came off the Sissoko's chest. But everyone can agree the biggest robbery in history was Chelsea getting robbed by Barcelona in 2009. And even though I don't like them, they got robbed, because it would have been a Man United-Chelsea final back-to-back. And United would have become the first team in the Champions League history to attain it. But Pep and Barcelona beat United in Rome, and Chelsea were robbed. I've watched the semi-final back every time, and yeah, PK handball, and the referee was from Norway, and he still admits he made a mistake. Well, big mistake, mate. Like, we were robbed in Madrid, and we were the better team in that second half.
The biggest robbery in football history is when Arsenal got voted back into the top division, and Spurs got relegated. I would say that's the biggest robbery.
Like, I remember years ago, decades ago, England clubs were banned in Europe, and there weren't any. Like, my carer, Ben, is a Man United fan. Like, Man United don't like the FA because Ben Symes, because he's a United fan.
I think you should call him Ben Simeone.
Like, you still need to bring back some FIFA or FC content, mate. Yeah. We're getting bored. You promised us, and you haven't done it since you brought back Harry Clark.
I've been busy.
Playing basketball.
Yeah, well,
listening to
bring
music,
back some content, fella. Give us some FC content, because everyone in the chat wants it, and I know Brian would love to watch it. And you haven't brought us back some content since FIFA 22, mate, when we had Jake in the studio, because I've watched, you've done a playlist of it, and you two played against each other, and you played rivals, because you two were trying to play foot champs, but the problem is you can't play it because it don't let you allow two people to play. It can be one. And, like, you still need to tell me what your name is on Xbox, Ben, and I can play you, because I've got you as a friend as that Ragnarmong account, but you're not going to... If you want to play, you need to tell me what your name is, Ben. I can play you, because you ain't seen my ultimate team yet.
I'm not playing you until you admit you had him in your team.
No, you're not going to... I'm only playing you if you can send me your name, because I did not have that scumbag in my team. And I do not like everyone bringing that up, because I did not have him. It's a fact. I never had that scumbag, because it was someone else. Because I watched the video, one of your FIFA 22 videos, and it weren't me, mate, because I was busy then.
You didn't play on video.
I didn't have him.
You didn't play on video.
No, it was somebody else that played Ben and Sim, because it weren't me, because my name's Kulisevsky on my Xbox. And
yeah, that's exactly who had him.
It weren't me, because my name's Kyle, and Kulisevsky you haven't seen, and I do not want to hear any more crap, Ben, about my profile picture on WhatsApp, because it weren't me. I lost a bet. And
So it was you.
Arsenal beat us that season, 22-23.
You were on
do not bring that
Stelios'
shit
channel
up.
in an Arsenal shirt. That's all I know.
No, that was stale, mate, because I watched one of the videos. That was
KPV,
stale.
look, it's getting late, man. It's getting late. It's getting late. We need to call this a night.
Anyway, lads, I'm out of here because I've got things to do this weekend. I'm not. Anyway, I don't know why we're not on TV 3 o'clock, but we were recently for another Premier League game. It was Palace, I think, and we won. So, anyway, people, KPV's out, and I'll see you all Saturday for the Burnley game, man. If we beat Burnley and Frankfurt, and we're going to beat City, but you haven't seen in this chat, City have beaten us for the last 2 seasons at our new ground, and it's pissed me off.
Well, we beat them in the cup last season. Let's hope we can replicate it. But KPV, big up to you, mate. Thanks for coming on today. We'll speak to you soon.
La Bosch, get out of my house.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of people still waiting to come on. We apologise, but it's 1 a.m. here in the UK, and I think it's time for us to get to bed.
Yeah, I think it is.
And yeah, back in the studio tomorrow. Let's see what Sim has to say for himself after that today.
Yep.
It's going to be an interesting conversation, that's for sure. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. What's this, 3-hour fan show, people?
Bloody hell. Bloody hell.
We'll see you all tomorrow. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, Cardi Spurs.